beautiful freaks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Frequels. I'm your host, EJ Leeson, and with me today is that Mr. Rory Colorasi. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I like watching you stand and record.
I know, this is fun.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
I feel good. I like it.
I'm like a little uncomfortable.
I know, this is why it's called like a power move.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been making a lot of those lately.
I keep doing them, and I don't mean to, but it just feels good.
You remember that time that you invited me into your office and the seat in front of your desk was really low to the floor, and then you were like super high up and you're just looking down on me?
Yeah.
That was a comfortable chair.
What color was that couch again?
Yeah. No, I got it from a first grade classroom.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah. So it's pretty
Like,
cool.
I mean, like recently?
Yeah, I just
broke in.
Just broke in, took it. I was like, whatever, I'll just do that. Also, we have two very special guests today. The incredible Mr. Brent. What's up, dog?
What's up?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm here.
I'm glad to have you back. This is your second episode.
Honored to be back.
Yeah, we had
especially for
such a good
this
time.
movie that we're about to talk about.
This is one of probably my favorite horror movies. I love this movie so much. I feel like, honestly, rewatching it, me and Adam would watch this movie all the time. And
That's why it turned out the way you did.
Yeah, that's why we are the way we are. But this is definitely like in my top 10 favorite horror movies.
It's
ever.
like
God, yeah.
it's really hard to argue that it's
perfect.
not one of the greatest horror films of all time.
Yeah.
You know, we'll talk more about that, but
Yeah.
who else do we got?
And returning once again, the Vinci, Mike Vinci. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back.
Yeah, great to have you back, man. What's
What's changed in 20 minutes?
Hey, they don't know.
Oh, sorry.
new? Yeah.
Mike is definitely not recording a double with us right now.
Yeah. That's
Let's see
so
what's
nice of
new.
you.
I've grown some new hair since the last time I was on.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and I kind of like it. It's fine.
Any new movies that you've watched?
No new movies, but I just rewatched all the Netflix Daredevil because Born Again has just started. At the time of recording, episode 3 has just come out, and holy cow! I mean, I love it. I haven't seen the new Captain America movie, but Daredevil, love it.
Excellent. Season 3 of Daredevil is maybe one of the best seasons of all time. It's so good because that's when they introduced Bullseye.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
Have you started Born Again yet?
No, not yet.
Okay,
I
all
plan
right.
on it.
Yes.
Yeah, but
But
I
you were
haven't watched
born
it.
again recently.
That's correct. Yeah.
We had a whole thing at Three Jacks.
Yeah. They dipped me in barbecue sauce.
Ooh,
Yeah.
your own little personal chicken nugget.
You
Yeah.
guys are kinky as shit.
Yeah, I know. That's how we roll here, man.
We film everything. Stop me after the show for some deets.
Yeah. But you're loving Daredevil Born Again?
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
There was part of me that was going to like, I'm just gonna wait till several episodes come out so I can just binge it. But I mean, I couldn't. It is really good. You should watch it if you're not watching it.
You know, I'm not meaning to punch down on Marvel or anything, but there is a type of artistry in that first season that hasn't been present in a lot of the movies. Like, you know, like those like really elongated fight scenes. It's like one take.
Well, yeah.
And you're just like watching it, and you know that they're like not just shooting it on like a shitty green screen. It's like down to earth, very gritty.
Yep.
And like I love in that show how you would like feel the punches. They weren't like cartoon punches. They were like you just watch these people brutalize Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And it's that first season is one of the best things Marvel's ever done for sure.
Did you see season 3 or no?
No, I didn't because that was around the time that I'd moved out to Los Angeles.
Oh,
And so like I wasn't like, hey, I want to watch Daredevil. It's more like, am I gonna survive out here? I think my house is shaking. And it was. Because Los Angeles is like it's a risk just to be there, you know.
Yeah.
I think I told you this the one time I woke up in the middle of the night and my apartment was shaking, but it wasn't like a real horrible earthquake, but it was
Right.
like kind of like a You woke up and
Like,
you felt like you were getting like
what the hell's
mildly
going on?
electrocuted. You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Oh, I'm going back to bed.
I remember this story on one of the episodes that I listened to. You woke up and you were like, huh? Huh?
Yeah. No survival skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did miss that. I want to get caught up on it because I really enjoy the show. But I've told you this before. It's a little harder for me with TV. Mm-hmm. And Dave Gonzalez is currently threatening me to watch Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't seen that?
No. No.
Yeah.
Well, now that the Master's gone, you have to watch it. You
know.
should have watched it before. Just saying.
I know. I've seen. I've seen like.
And it's only 30 episodes. It's nothing. It's a season and a half.
Yeah.
Well, 2.5 if you count the new one that they did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But it's still not a lot.
I've heard even that. I guess it's like the relaunch, whatever you want to call it, the sequel series.
Yeah.
I have a friend. He's very picky with stuff. Matt Rinaldi.
Oh yeah.
Right. I remember the one episode aired. I think it was like episode 5 or 6, and he was like, "This like literally one of the greatest things he's ever seen in anything."
You're thinking of 8, by the way.
One of them.
It's 8.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. Granted, I haven't watched the
If
show,
anyone
so
said
I'm,
this, it would be this.
I'm not good with the episode numbers as I have not seen it. But but I remember like he was like really like lit up about it. So that's the thing I've always wanted to explore, but I just keep watching Dexter.
Oh no, that's cool. That's a great show too.
Because I'm.
Did you guys watch Dexter Original Sin?
Yeah.
The original one. Not
Yeah.
the new one. We talked about this last time I was here.
Yeah,
I didn't get
it's
to the new
good.
one.
It's really
The
good.
new season, it is.
I have concerns, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, and then how about you, buddy? What have you seen any new movies or anything?
Not shows because, like Rory was saying, just no time for TV. No, I mean seriously.
Right.
But yeah, a couple movies, 2 big ones. One finally, just what's today? Wednesday. Last weekend, I finally got around to The Substance.
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Finally, yeah.
Right?
It was
Awesome.
a big blank spot. Awesome.
Right?
Now I watched it after the Oscars, so everybody was upset about Demi losing, and I was like, again, I hadn't seen it at that point, so it's like, okay, whatever. Then I saw it, and I'm like, then I was pissed off about her losing.
Yeah. She's like remarkable in that.
Well, she like, never mind like all the shit she goes through, but like she's what 60 years old,
Yeah.
and she's walking around butt ass naked for most of the movie.
Yeah.
that's not that's ballsy.
Yeah.
She's a fearless actress.
Yeah.
There's 2 performances I saw last year that really jumped out at me. That was one of them to me more. And the other one was Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl.
I haven't
Did you
seen
guys
that.
see that?
I haven't watched.
I
it
haven't
yet,
watched
no.
it. No.
There's stuff that she does in that movie. I am 100% sure, like most actresses in Hollywood right now, would be like, no, I'm absolutely not doing that. And Nicole Kidman's just like, I'm a perfect actress. I'm just gonna fucking do this, and I'm gonna crush it. And she just doesn't like. It just seems like you could ask her to do anything, and she would just take it because she's like a professional,
Yeah.
But like Demi Moore has that same kind of thing, and people don't realize this, but she's always been that way.
Oh yeah, she's incredible.
She's
Yeah.
always been like on point with things, right?
right.
And for some reason, I'm not sure why, but it seems like people started to think of her as just kind of like what the hell did she call it? A producer told her that she was like a popcorn
Oh,
actress.
popcorn, yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
just like, what?
Another-
Fuck you.
what? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I felt like every role she's ever like I never saw her as like a blockbuster popcorn actress
No.
Right.
ever. Like
She's got range.
yeah.
And I
Have
never
you
felt she was a
seen
fill-
Ghost.
Yeah, I've never thought she was a filler actress either. Like
Yeah.
she was like always something to watch on the
Yeah.
screen.
She's like the definition of a movie star.
Yeah.
You know?
Molly, you're in danger, girl.
Even when she's like part of an ensemble, like there was a movie in the mid 2000s called Bobby. It was about the RFK assassination.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
had like 20 big names in it, and she was one, so she's only in like a couple scenes, but you still remember her from that.
Yeah.
Just
she's
by a couple
so good
scenes.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. So yeah, I was bummed out that she didn't win, but at the same time, you're like, well, Mikey Madison is no slouch either.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? So it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I can accept it, but there was a part of me that was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
However, I think everything very early on in the night, they had me, right? Because Flo won.
Yeah. That was a surprise.
That was like a real happy moment for me.
I
pumped
said
my
this
fist.
before. I think like this year for animated films is kind of like 1994,
Stacked.
where it was just stacked. Like every movie was actually like for an animated movie.
I agree.
Is
I loved
incredible.
all of them.
Yeah.
Even like Wallace and Gromit. If you haven't seen it yet, everybody, check it out. It's the shit.
And then Memoir of a Snail amazing, and Inside Out 2 was just like incredible. I had no interest in seeing it.
No.
And I went on like I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. I loved it.
Yeah,
I was like,
it lands in a really beautiful way.
yeah.
You know, it's not like my favorite animated movie of the year because it doesn't star a cat.
Right.
But-
And then when I watched Flow, because I didn't get to see Flow till it hit Max, and I was like, this movie is outstanding. I knew though, even from the trailer, I was like, this is gonna be amazing. I don't know.
Do you know like when people sometimes talk about like what? Keep the pretentious thing to the side. But like when people talk about like what cinema is.
Yeah.
So it's like Flow doesn't have any dialogue. There's literally no one there to explain the plot to you, and you know every fucking thing that's going on in the movie.
Yeah.
Like that's like really powerful visual storytelling, you know?
Absolutely.
So like to me it's like, yeah, it deserved to win Best Animated Movie, but I also think it was a contender for one of the best movies I saw this year in general.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's just like what cinema is.
Yeah.
Visual storytelling, kids.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, them
I
shit.
never
What else
knew.
did you see?
The other one was Red Rooms. You guys seen that on Shudder?
I haven't watched that yet.
No, not yet.
Listen, it's one of the few. It's the first movie that like kept me up for a while after I watched it.
Yeah?
Really?
In a long time. I don't remember the last time that happened. Not like up all night, not that bad, but like it was in my mind because
You're
I
like,
went
I
to bed
can't
right
go to
afterward,
bed.
and it was like, thank God it was a weekend because I was up to like 4 a.m. thinking about that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Shit.
Yeah,
I
it's-
gotta watch that.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I won't tell you anything else because I don't want to spoil it. But it's just not. It's not what you think.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, definitely. Is that like a made for Netflix movie or is
Shudder.
It Shudder?
Yeah.
Sold. Yeah. For as much as I shit on like streaming,
Yeah.
I like Shudder quite a bit.
I know, me too,
Yeah.
man.
Shudder rocks.
And they haven't put ads in their shit yet. Now that I said that, watch because now everybody's fucking putting ads in. Prime is doing it now too.
Yeah.
Shudder's still ad free.
Keeping it
Yeah.
real.
I know.
Yeah.
I watched that. Did you watch Azrael on there?
No.
No.
You know
Samara
what? I think
Weaving.
Adam was talking about that.
Yeah, that movie's
Yeah.
awesome. That's another one of those movies. I don't think there's actually any real dialogue in it.
That's what I
Oh,
understand
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's like the way it ends. I was just like, you rock stars.
Yeah.
It's got like a really cool, like dark, menacing ending, and you're just like, neato. And the central concept of it's great too, because it's after like the rapture. So these are all the people that are just like
left over.
Yeah.
Or left behind.
Yeah, it's a neat concept, but so that's the last movie you saw.
Horror movies, yeah. I'll just mention real quick because it's not a horror movie, so we could just gloss over it real quick. But the other day I watched The French Connection.
Nice.
Seen that?
Yeah.
Well, to honor the late Gene Hackman,
yeah.
who we lost
Yeah.
whatever
R.I.P.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, everybody's seen it, I assume. So.
Let
Oh,
me
for
ask,
sure.
what's your favorite Gene Hackman?
Oh God, come on now! You
Bro.
can't ask me that.
I have
He's
to.
in so many. He was in so many good things. Like
I know.
for fuck's sake, you look at his resume. How could I pick one? That's definitely at the top,
Yeah.
or near the top, I should say.
Yeah.
Um.
God, I don't
So
even
for
know.
argument, that and maybe Hoosiers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't in any horror movies, was he? Not that if
can
he
think
was, I
of.
don't remember them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no. But that's
That
all right.
car chase in The French Connection's like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining like
Especially
the
when
tech-
they filmed it without permits.
Yeah.
They just got in the car and said drive. Awesome.
I love that.
I
I,
didn't
think
know
that's
that,
awesome.
yeah.
I love when I hear stories like that where they just like, fuck, we don't need permits. They'll just film it.
And you
then-
know that movie won Best Picture.
Yeah.
You will not see a movie like that win in Best Picture now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So true. How about you?
One other thing about that movie. So like William Friedkin,
Yeah.
you know what? Why like is another layer to why that car chase is so frightening is because William Friedkin. I don't know if he'd entirely care if you died in a car wreck. like his movies, like even like The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like he's not getting the right reaction out of people, so it's just like fire a gun off to the
Oh, yeah.
side or
Yeah.
slap somebody in the face.
Yeah.
And it's just anything to get a shot. And I know it's like a weird thing because you talk about this stuff today, and people are like, you know, like, oh, like actors have to be like babied now. They have like these like multi-billion-dollar movies, and they're just like, we don't want them to work all that hard or go
Yeah.
anywhere. But like some of these like actors and actresses back in the day, like they put themselves through shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like the directors didn't treat them like children. And whether or not, you know, an argument can be made that maybe like it's not the best practice, but The Shining came out pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Shelley Duvall, but you know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's a weird conversation to have, but I mean, maybe you do need to, like, if you're making movies like The French Connection or The Exorcist or The Shining, like maybe you do need to be in distress to some extent to actually get there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I think the line definitely could and should exist of what that is. Of, you know, because it's like that same thing of, you know, parents disciplining their children by hitting them or not hitting them, or saying no or not saying no. Like,
Right.
yeah, we've gotten to a point where I feel like there's an overcorrection where actors are now babied.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't right for them to be abused.
No.
Right.
So, like, there's definitely...
There's somewhere like a happy.
There's a line.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a spot where maybe they shouldn't be set up to be babied as a person, as an actor going into a thing. Like, you know, you look at some like Willem Dafoe or Bill Skarsgård or something like that, and they take their role. They're like, yeah, I got to become this thing.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
the movie stars that are like,
I'd just be the same thing and everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a weird line you have to walk.
yeah.
But like I do feel like certain films do require more out of you, and your director does need to
That's a
get
good
it out
point,
of you.
yeah.
But it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you got to find that balance, because you never heard Gene Hackman complain about the way he was treated.
They were
And-
also people like him were born of like a different generation.
Well, right, yeah, exactly.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what
They're
it-
just
but
like,
I mean,
I'm like,
there's a
making
different-
a movie, it's a walk in the park. We all went to war.
Yeah.
You're right. But I'm saying there's a difference between that and somebody like the way Stanley treated Shelley Duvall on The Shining. Now that, from what I've read, that seems a little much.
Right.
I mean, it got a good performance out of her, but at what cost?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you feel bad when you
Yeah.
think about it, but the end result is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about Christina Ricci, what she just said recently on the future of filmmaking? She says, I hope that we are able to get back to things being run by people who love film and TV instead of people who run corporations really
Yeah.
well.
Hey, she's the smartest woman in the
Yeah,
industry right
For
now.
real.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, icon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly right. I mean, that is what the problem is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like they're all just like, we have to please everybody from every part of the world. Da, da, da. They're not thinking about art. They're not thinking about like making like a film that stands the test of time.
And touch
Nope.
it, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
really, yeah. Like, I would make the argument that that's kind of what I was complaining about with
A complete unknown.
that Captain America movie.
Oh, yeah,
It was
yeah.
like they sanded off any type of rough edges that would have made it so that
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie could have like a meaningful Captain America story to tell. I don't want
Yeah.
to ruffle any feathers, so they just kind of make everything very bland.
Yeah.
That's Marvel for you.
Yeah, but
Nowadays.
they didn't used to be so like.
I said nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, you remember
Yeah.
like the first like Guardians of the Galaxy, like how that started. It's like Peter having to see like his mother like dying of cancer, and that's like it hits you so hard because they play it very straight, but
Yeah.
it adds like this like emotional layer to everything. Like the all the music is now informed, like how he like responds to a family is informed.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it's like you really have to get into that like that painful shit to like tell like a meaningful story. But today they're just like, well, the hero's happy all the time. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
Things are
yeah.
going to be okay for everybody. We don't want to get people too upset because then they might not show up.
Right.
But
Yeah.
no one's showing up anyway.
Yeah.
So
I know.
whatever.
One of my, it's not even a complaint because I liked A Complete Unknown, but there was like 2 musical bios that came out in January, and that was one of them, and then the other one was Better Man. And I remember coming out, like, just watching Better Man, and I'm like crying and I'm laughing and I'm feeling everything. And then A Complete Unknown, I just was like, I didn't know that about Bob Dylan.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I felt like it lacked like emotional depth, where Better Man was like, we have everything.
Well, that's the thing though. Like they are two, because I agree with you. Like I think Better Man for me was a better movie.
Yeah.
Because it hit on a lot of other levels. But I think the misconception of A Complete Unknown is that it's not the standard rags to riches story. It's more about, like, to me anyways, about the change in music that Bob Dylan represented.
Right.
Like when you get to the end and it's like he's up on stage at the folk show and
Yeah.
he's adding the electric and everyone's like not ready for it. They're like
Whoa,
throwing shit.
turn that off.
Yeah, like it's like that song, "The Times They Are Changing," is
Yeah.
really emblematic of what the movie's about.
Right.
It's just like, you know, get the fuck out of the way. Like this safe folk stuff is going to open up and it's going to change, and like it's about change.
Right.
So I feel like they're different films, but Better Man is like, that's just kind of magical, that movie. Like no one saw it. Apparently, it didn't do well, but I agree with you. It's very.
It does what a movie should do, and I think that's like move you emotionally, right? And you feel emotionally connected to the characters, and Better Man does that, like right out the gate too. Like you instantly care about this little monkey kid, you know what I mean? Like you're like, I love this kid. Yeah. And then because he's singing with the dad, and it just like has so much heart, and I feel like a lot of movies don't have that anymore. It kind of is missing a little bit, you know what I mean?
The movie also allows for you to kind of like look inward.
Yeah.
Because like it does, like it has like that thing about how you go through your life and there's like different versions of you.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times, like, really artistic, creative people start from a place of trauma.
Right.
And then all these, like, little things.
Kind of, like, build up on that. Yeah.
I might relate to that. I don't know. But yeah, like, all these different versions of you spring from you trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then those things start becoming voices in your head, kind of wishing you to fail and having to kind of just, like, learn to love all those little broken pieces of you. I'm like, that's a fucking powerful story told perfectly, I thought.
And Better Man.
You thought.
Yeah.
Better Man. No, I was talking about the substance.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was talking about Captain America. But no, I know you mean. Better Man is unfortunately the overlooked movie of last year. At least they gave it a special effects nomination.
Yeah.
When you're just like, whatever.
I know.
And
last time you were here, we talked about Terrifier 3. You recently just went to a convention and met the stars of Terrifier 3. How was that?
Well, what do you think? It was
pretty
it was
awful.
Terrible. Y'all see my posts online, so you know how it was.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to fanboy out here, but meeting Lauren Lavera was a little,
amazing.
To use one word, you know, because not only is she just the sweetest person, but she's also, the teenage boy inside you goes a little crazy. Meanwhile, her husband is sitting at the table with her, so it's very awkward.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I think she's used to it. But I mean, she was the most popular person there because it was a smaller convention. Yeah. So, her line was like, they had the Terrifier people in a separate room along with like a handful of other randos.
Oh, okay.
And her line was like outside of the room, like down the hall.
Wow.
Not that bad, like about say 20 to 30 minutes. So nothing crazy. Not like David Howard Thornton's line at Monster Mania last year. That was fucking. I didn't stand in that.
Or just Robert Englund in general.
Well, right, or somebody like that. Yeah. So
the Scream people now.
But again, once you got to her, I mean, you can't stand there for a half hour, obviously, and talk. But I never got the feeling like, okay, next. You don't get that with anybody from that franchise. I told you that before. And she was no different. The sweetest person and stuff. And funny enough, she told me, and I didn't know this. She's in a new film. It's not out yet. Fetus. Did you know that was partially shot here?
Yeah.
I had no idea. She told me that, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I met her, right?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, so where are you from? And I was like,
that's what she asked me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, and she's like, oh, I shot a movie with Bill Moseley.
Yeah,
there.
that's exactly what she said to me.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool.
And I was like, what? And then she goes, how far of a ride is that? And I said, about 5 hours. And she says, oh, you drove 5 hours just to see me? And I'm like, well, yeah.
yeah, man.
But yeah, I had no idea. And I'm like, but I mean, obviously they don't publicize shooting when they're doing, they don't want crowds or publicity. But I was just like,
Yeah.
But it was funny because I stood in line, like I said, her line, and then I get right outside the door to go into the room where she is, and the convention, volunteers come out, and she goes, "Oh, Lauren's gonna take a lunch break now," and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
You're like, God damn it!
She won't be long.
All day.
Yeah, that's just my luck. And
it's an 8-course meal.
Yeah, right. No, she won't be long. And then they're like, "Okay, well, you could stay in line. You don't have to." Da da da. And then I'm literally standing right there. And he like says it to like me personally, like he addressed me, and he's like, "Oh, you could stay in line, or you could leave, if you want to." I said, "The hell I am leaving. You think I'm gonna fucking stand in another line like this?"
Yeah.
For another half
You
hour.
should have hit him
Yeah.
with, "Can I buy her lunch?"
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Well, heads up, man.
Lauren, I gotcha.
Yeah, right?
They call her 5-course Lavera. She's like, bring me more.
But
You're freaking out all those like platters.
It's just a platter full of cheeseburgers.
She's like,
Not only is she a fan of Scooby-Doo, but she also eats like Shaggy.
but, she actually like eats her burgers with a fork and knife. She cuts it up into little pieces and daintily eats them.
She's like, don't
This
worry,
is
guys.
taking a really long time.
It'll just be 5 hours.
How long does it take you to eat your lunch?
she
Not 5 hours.
she legit was only gone about 20 minutes. Not that I
Yeah.
timed it or anything, but it was not long.
Yeah, that's great.
Seriously,
That's
so,
cool, though.
Yeah, so it was, and that was my first time meeting her, as you guys
Yeah,
know. So
yeah.
now her little bro I met before,
Elliot.
and we spent
Yeah.
tons of time talking about him last time I was here.
Yeah.
But so I wasn't nearly as uncomfortable around him as I was around her.
Did he remember
Right.
you?
Huh?
Do you remember you?
He says he did, and now
Was it like a? Oh yeah, I
Yeah, well,
remember
no.
you.
I mean, you know how you just when you're talking to somebody, you get a feel if they're bullshitting you or not. You get a vibe or whatever. I didn't get that from him. In other words,
Oh, like
it
he,
seemed like he was
legit-
being honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
so he
I
wasn't
don't-
like looking at his phone, like, "Oh yeah, I remember you."
Yeah, no. And that's the other thing. Like,
You
him-
owe me money, right? I remember you.
I remember everybody who owes me $5.
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, he was, and it's funny because you know what that kid's favorite horror movie is? The movie we're about to talk about.
Really?
Yeah.
What a segue.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I didn't do
Perfect
that.
segment.
I didn't do that on purpose, but yeah.
Hey, it's welcome.
Yeah.
But I actually went back to see him twice that day because his line wasn't nearly as long as you could imagine.
Right.
I went back to see him later in the day, and he remembered me that time
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, he's like, I definitely remember you now, man.
But
I remember you, Bradley.
You're like, damn it.
but yeah, I mean, again, just this both of them, just the nicest people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they really.
And he's a
everybody
great
from
kid.
Terrifier is
Everybody,
super nice.
Everybody, yeah.
Which is insane,
Which is-
right? You
which is
wouldn't
crazy.
think, like, David Howard Thornton is extremely nice to all his fans.
Remember what I told you the last time we were here talking about him? Remember what he used to do before he was art? He was a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So it's great. With that being said, Rory, how about you, man? What did you see? Anything new?
Well, I'm not going to say that we recorded 2 episodes back to back. I'm not going to say that.
Don't say
There's no way to prove it.
Definitely didn't
Shut
happen.
the fuck up.
Sorry, man. But I may have blown through all the movies that I saw last time. But on a slightly different topic, we had a game night.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. Do you guys like board games or no?
Porn games?
Yeah, porn games.
Clarify what you said. Yeah.
Porn games, yes.
Yeah.
I love those. I
Yeah,
love
sure,
playing
they're great.
porn board games.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It's a 5-course.
So we do a 5-course plan.
Porn games,
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty good.
No, but do you guys like board games for real?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We played like this. Go ahead.
No, go
tell
ahead.
Them.
Go
You
ahead.
tell them about the game.
I don't know what we
Here,
did.
let me tell you about what you guys did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys played a board game,
We sure did.
Yeah.
and then it was strip
All of the
Scrabble, strip Scrabble,
Right.
and
That led into Twister.
then led into Twister. I think you should tell the story.
All right. No, we played a game called Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yeah. It was hosted by friend of the show, Casey Clocker. If you know that name, you're probably sitting there thinking, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Because his episodes are always very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. We're at that age now where we like to wear our little cardigans and play board games and stay warm.
Yeah. I had to pass out. I had the air conditioner on because I was like extremely hot.
Yeah, me too.
And everybody else was pretty cold.
Yeah, they were freezing, and we were
About to
like,
say it's winter.
Right.
Are you
I-
aware
no,
of that?
dude. Honestly, dude.
Or were
'cause
you just doing some crazy shit in there that you were getting all hot and bothered?
Yeah,
I won't
I
even-
need to
not
know a
gonna-
lot more about what's happening. Because so far, all I know is board games, and it was getting real hot.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Whatever you're thinking, it happened.
Oh, okay.
And it involved a Cole Sprouse blanket.
How did you get into that position?
Oh, well, so what happened was there was
What
10
happened
there was like 10 of
was-
us.
Okay.
playing like board games, right? And it got so well to me. I was like, oh man, it's so hot. And I know Rory is the same. Like
I run about 104 degrees all year long.
Yeah, seriously. But everyone else is like, oh man, it's so cold. And like, luckily, my girlfriend loves like blankets, and everyone was wearing blankets except like Rory and me.
Can I tell you how the night ended?
Yeah.
Eventually, EJ got up and he turned the air conditioner off. And then he looked around, and it was like the ending of Titanic when they saw all the frozen bodies in the water. And I'm like, you waited too long.
Basically, that's how it looks. It just looked like all the survivors, like, on the boat. And you see Cal walking by, like, looking for Rose. That was basically my apartment the other day.
Yeah, you're just like walking around.
He's like looking through. No, but we played this game, Blood on the Clock Tower, and it's very much like the TV show The Traitors, where there's like murderers among you, and everybody else is innocent, and you have to figure out who the murderers are.
Yeah.
And each night, like that goes by, like around, someone gets murdered, and so you have to like figure it out. So it's about like lying, manipulating, and screwing over your friends.
Tell them how awesome I did in the first round.
I was about to say.
So Rory was the killer in the first one, the first game that we played, because we played like 4, and Rory was the first killer, and he won. Like he literally killed everybody. He had everyone trade on me. He's like, vote EJ out. I think it's EJ.
Because they get to vote whether or not they like kill you.
Yeah.
And I just made a compelling case to kill the nicest guy in their room.
Yeah. And everyone's like, you know what? EJ was acting a little strange. Because he was like, how are you? And I took that like, how am I? How is he? What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Hiding?
Yeah. No, but Rory literally played like a flawless game. It was insane because it was so hard to pinpoint who the killer was. Because he was like, your method was like random, but also orchestrated really well. I don't know how to explain it. It was like constructed chaos. I don't know.
Yeah. It was a weird thing. Like every time somebody would, when people became very certain that somebody was the killer, they'd be like, "Oh, like Becca's acting weird." I would keep her in the game for as long as possible because the longer she stayed in, the more it looked like she was the killer.
Yeah.
So then I would just pick off all the people who weren't talking all that much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're like the victims. But
yeah, anyone who was like accusing another person, Rory kept them in. Right?
Yeah.
So it just had that feud build up more and more. Yeah. Except for Church. You killed Church first, right?
That was like the thing that really fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
Because I killed him right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like,
and so
well, who is it now?
And everyone's like, I think it might be Christy, like Casey's girlfriend, because they argued like the round before, and everyone's like, well, maybe it's Christy, but then everyone's like, I don't know, I think it's Becca because she's acting strange, and she's like, I'm just a washerwoman, guys. That's my character. No, she was a chef.
She was something.
The first one, right? Yeah. But it's a really cool game, and next time we play, you guys should come.
Yeah, you guys,
awesome.
we should have a game here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But when we're not playing games, we're reviewing movies poorly. What
Here.
movie are we reviewing today?
Today we're doing one of the best horror movies of all time. So many people would put this in their top 10 horror movies. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think that's absolutely truth. Even filmmakers themselves who have stepped into horror films would say Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a huge inspiration for them.
Even Ridley Scott with Alien.
Yeah.
Because he said he wanted that that raw terror
Yeah.
that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre had.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Alien
is 100%.
I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that one, but
But yeah, today we're talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper. And this movie, oh my God, it's so good. This was picked by Brent.
during our Terrifier 3 episode.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, next time I come on, let's do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And we were like, sure. That's a true story.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Go back and listen.
Yeah, go back and listen to our Terrifier 3 episode. I will say one thing about this movie that's kind of funny. It is absolutely, and I agree with you, one of the greatest horror films of all time. Like, I would say like top 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's one of the greatest horror films, but has one of the most awful franchises.
Yeah, we're okay. Let's go into this really quick.
One of them.
I don't know.
What?
Okay.
Which sequel?
do this.
Which sequel is your favorite out of all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels that have happened?
Well, sequels and reboots.
Yeah, you know what? Let's count the remakes too.
Yeah.
Which one's like your absolute favorite? Like if you
As
could
a
pick one other one
Besides the first movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, though, still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You ruined my Sonny Bono wig.
I know, I don't know how far this will go. This is pretty early in the episode to say this, but I think I put 2 before 1.
Really?
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kick this guy out of here right now.
It's weird because Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was Gremlins 2 before Gremlins 2 Gremlin 2'd.
Yeah.
Because it really is. It's just like
Can you say that sentence again?
I will. No, it's like kind of like making fun of the first one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
100%.
deconstructing it and
It's
making
fun.
fun of it.
And it's like goofy. It's weird. There's
The
like
fucking poster is a replica of the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? Like, you see this movie and you're just like, why would you go in that direction?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Even still, because I rewatched it last year, and I was like, it doesn't really make sense.
No.
No.
It goes
But
in
it's
a
a lot of
complete
fun.
direction.
It is a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
It's one of those movies that you let slide on a lot of things just because it's a good time. You know, it's one of those movies like you watch with your buddies and you just have fun with it. As far as like favorite ones go,
Yeah.
I mean, 2 probably is the best one following that. I feel like if anything, I might go like 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So it just like goes.
It's a downward
down.
spiral for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I was not a big fan of the remake
Yeah.
that everyone really seemed to like. I don't know. I just feel like this is a really clunky, bad franchise.
I feel like obviously the first one perfected it.
Yeah.
And everything that kind of followed didn't ever hit that level.
They were never
maybe?
the same. It was never
Yeah.
never the same vibe as you're watching it. It was
This is one of those one and dones, and people don't understand it. Because like it says everything you need to say, and it's perfect, and then they try to retread it in future sequels, and it just never has that same impact. Because it's like literally only something you can do once.
That straight to Netflix one, the last one that came out.
Trash.
Man.
I didn't even watch it.
Trash.
It was not good.
No.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, it was not.
I mean, seriously. After a while, it became a thing where it was like they kept trying. They were like, we
Yeah.
got Texas Chainsaw or Chainsaw 3D. Remember how they did that?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's Texas Chainsaw
Alexandra
3D.
Daddario's in it.
Yeah.
And then there's
That
just
one wasn't
Texas.
bad. Like that was okay, but like
Compared to the new one, maybe.
yeah, compared to like
But as I
some
said,
of the
it's
other
just
ones.
like a
but-
downward
Yeah.
spiral.
Oh my gosh.
That being said, Rory, you're gonna have to deal with this. I don't mind the 03 remake. I don't think it's
A
that
lot
bad.
of people like it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like it.
it's not anywhere close to the original, obviously. And I would even say part 2 is better.
Yeah.
I've come to appreciate part 2 more as time goes on and as I rewatch it. I didn't like it
Yeah.
at first because it was so different tonally.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a nice little match with the first one in terms of being a parody of the first one, which
Right.
is kind of crazy.
and
talking about
getting
two?
like
Yeah, part
the
2.
old man back and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. So there's some continuity because of that.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, the rest of them, like I said, the 03 remake I didn't mind.
Yeah.
The 06 prequel, which is again continuity with the remake,
Right.
they're not terrible. But
Right.
every other one, including that garbage one from 2 years ago, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and 3D.
So
Yeah.
I had a really fun memory when I met Gunnar Hansen. Did you ever meet him?
Yeah, I think it was at Monster Mania.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know, like
7 or
05,
something?
06 or something
Yeah.
like that. But I remember us just making fun of that remake. It was really fun. He put out my 8x10. He put the remake sucks. But I asked him, I'm like, well, why don't you like it? Let's see if our things match up. He said the exact same thing that I did, like exactly what I was thinking. It just feels like MTV made it like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And this movie, it's like what is so effective about it is that it's so stripped down.
Yeah.
It has like that 16 millimeter film like that. I remember in an American movie, the way Mark Borchardt describes it, he's like, it looks like you're watching one of those 60mm accident films they show you in like high school.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, people listening to this right now that are like in their like fucking 20s don't know what I'm talking about. But like
sick ref, dude.
Yeah. Well, bro.
It's very optimistic of you to think that you have 20-year-old.
I was about to
I
say
know.
that.
Yeah, they're probably like, these old men suck. They're playing board games.
They're like, I'm eating my glizzy. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Yeah,
I'm
I was
my
never able
phone.
to understand what they were saying before.
But like, just even like looking at it, it literally is like so stripped down that it feels very real. And then you watch the '03 movie, and I just felt like I was watching like another movie. It's too glossy for me.
I feel like I had such fond memories because I saw the '03 and then the beginning in theaters.
Yeah, same.
That I like thinking back on it. I was like, oh, I really like those movies because
Yeah.
I watched everything in order when I was rewatching them recently.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I think I'm going to get to the remakes and I'm going to be like, yeah, I still appreciate these for them. But instead, when I rewatched the first one, I like beginning more than the 03 one
Yeah.
because watching the 03 one, I think you're exactly right. It feels just like every other horror movie that was coming out at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cabin Fever, Wrong Turn.
Yeah.
They were all like the same movie, but insert an existing horror icon.
Right.
They were too polished.
Yeah.
They lacked that raw, gritty horror that made these movies so effective.
Yeah.
And again, like I have nothing against a movie that looks like that. Like that's fine. Like there's a place for it, but I just remember watching it and just being like in the theater because all I kept hearing about from people was like how great it was.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it has a really good opening shot, and that's kind of a pun because there's like that fucking shot thing through the head or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh,
going
right.
through- that's
Yeah.
a cool shot, but
Yeah,
I'm like,
going
not
through
for
the head.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Now, granted, like if they're trying to just do a totally different thing, that's fine. They have the right to do that as creatives to make whatever movie they want to make, but whether or not it's for me is a different story. So I just remember being rather bored by it because I was like, oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't end in any way that had any real teeth for me, but this one, it's like
the original.
it's a happy ending, sorta.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if I'd use that word.
Right.
Yeah, it's just very like yeah, she got away, but what kind of life is she gonna live after this?
Yeah. I think like the remake only tried to like recreate the iconic walk of like Pam walking to the house, and that was like the only shot that they like kind of tried to recreate.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember
Yeah.
that with like
Yeah.
Jessica Biel? But yeah, like other than that, I like the remake. I watched it a bunch and it's fun. I don't know.
It's definitely fine. Like everything
Yeah.
I just said about it, like I'll still watch it.
Yeah.
Like it still
Yeah,
exists.
It's a
and
well-made movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I just watching this last night again, I'm just like, man, it's such a rarity to ever see something like this.
Yeah.
Can
know,
you
because-
believe 2 Oscar winners, 2 were in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4?
Matthew
Matthew
McConaughey and,
Renee Zellweger.
Zellweger,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Is that wild?
different time, bro.
And then a nomination for Viggo Mortensen in 3, Leatherface, Part 3.
Yeah.
not for part 3.
No, not for Part 3.
clarify
But
that.
he was nominated for.
Oh, well, that's
yeah.
where I was confused.
Yeah,
as well. I was
clarify
like,
that.
wait a second. How about the remake of Leatherface? Have you seen that? It's like a
You mean-
2017
You
movie.
mean the one called Leatherface?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see that.
It's one of those movies that just shouldn't have been attached to the franchise because other than that, if it were just called Psycho Killer instead of Leatherface,
Yeah.
cool. Because what they do to the character, you see him as a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh, cool.
he's pretty. He's
It's
normal.
like episode 1.
He's normal.
Did he have a high midichlorian count?
Yeah, he was the one. He was the one. And they had this shot where you see
You know what? I
a
did see that.
shadow of him in a dress and everything.
He actually has a boner, but it looks like a chainsaw in the shadow.
Yes, exactly.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Are you serious?
Awesome.
Because I haven't seen it, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wish it was real.
Yeah, I wish we would have just read that and been like, yeah,
Yeah, man.
it's
Check it
definitely
out.
in the movie.
Check
Dude,
it out.
check that poster out.
It's available on Tubi.
It's on movieposters.com. You can buy it.
But should we dive into this movie?
Yeah, let's dive into this movie. So today, of course, we're talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper. The cinematographer was Daniel Pearl. Because I have to mention that because this movie looks so unique. And I love the look of this film. I don't know. Like
It's that less is more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I watched like the documentary on this. It's on Tubi if you guys want to watch it. But
Prequel sponsored by
there's
Tubi.
like two documentaries that you can watch. And one is really funny because the hitchhiker talks about when he was being cast, they were doing a open casting at the college, and he was just walking by, and people were like, "Hey, do you want to audition for this movie?" So he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever," right? And they're like, "Okay, this character just like he's a little weird, he's a little spastic, like." He's like, "Oh, this is my nephew." Like he read he's like, "I'm just gonna act like my nephew," and so he did it. And they're like, "Yeah." Well, he talks about Toby Hooper. He's like, he always had a cigar, like all the time. And he's like, "Yeah, kid, that's pretty good. We're gonna give you a call back."
Dude, I bet it was kind of like an '80s montage where they had like an actor coming in, the producers are all shaking their head no. Yeah, exactly. Someone comes in, they're shaking their head no, and that guy comes in, they're just like looking at each other like, yeah. Because that guy, I can't imagine them not calling him back because he seems rather tweaked or something.
Yeah,
he's somewhere in that character. He feels very real to me.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel like a guy acting. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
No, you are tense. Like, what the hell is he gonna do? Like,
right?
Even after seeing it several times, you still watch it. You're like, oh, it's so awkward what he's doing.
Yeah.
Do you know
like I met that guy. You know what I mean? Like I've come across that guy before.
Yeah.
Did he take a picture of you?
Yeah, he took a picture. He's like,
and then burn
$20.
Oh God, inflation's reached you too. One thing I'll say though about the cinematography for this movie, it has like my favorite kind of thing in a horror film where you can kind of like feel the movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you feel gross. Like you feel the heat and like just like when they're in that room. Actually, you know what's a really good example when they go to like the Franklin house. It's just like so dirty. It doesn't look like a Hollywood made house.
No,
it looks like when you were. I don't know if other kids did this, but my friends and I used to like break in old houses and just kind of look to see if we could find ghosts. I said that when we were kids, but they like all those like
that's
abandoned
a felony.
Oh, well, that's why I never said I lived a clean life.
You didn't break in to look for jewelry. You're like, I want to find a ghost.
No, that's how I pay my bills. That's how I pay my bills.
Family was still sleeping. They're like, God, where are these ghosts?
Look at this free TV. But no, like just like that idea of like an abandoned house. Like sometimes in movies they overdo it a little bit. This just looks like they found some house that's fallen into like disrepair for like, you know what I mean? It's dirty, it's grimy, and it's just perfect. That scene where the girl falls into the room filled with bones and stuff, you're just huh, gross.
You know what other movie was really good that did the same kind of thing with that authentic house is Halloween Resurrection. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it looks just like the original house.
Same house, everything, bones, everything.
Yeah, that movie is awful, and I can't wait to cover it on the show.
Oh God, can we not? Okay, can we? Can I please come back for that? So because we could trash talk the movie for a change.
Hey, how about this? Wait, I have a perfect idea. So this will probably be like later on in the year, maybe for Halloween.
Yeah.
You and Adam versus me and Brent.
Yeah, Adam.
Because we're a team, we don't like it. These clowns love it.
You love that, or well, I shouldn't say love it, but you enjoy that.
No, they
like
love it.
Yeah.
Are you fucking
For real.
drunk or what?
No,
Fierce debates.
I don't know
where-
what's our problem.
I mean, for the
loved
record,
it.
I do like Curse of Michael Myers.
Oh,
I
I
know
do
a lot
too.
of people
Love it
hate
too.
it. I don't love it, but I enjoy it.
You're
I
in good
love it.
company.
Yeah.
That's another good looking movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I know.
Oh, he looks badass in that movie,
He
doesn't
looks
he?
great. Yeah. But just the general feel
I know what
of
you
that
mean.
movie,
Yeah.
I think it's the closest to feeling like Halloween.
I was about to say it feels like autumn.
Yeah, it's perfect in that sense.
Yeah.
One other thing before we jump into the plot, commending this movie in a big bad way for not having a score.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
yeah, I
like-
think that
Yeah.
adds so much to it.
The tension is like, you know, like when like it's one of the greatest villain reveals ever when like Leatherface comes through that doorway.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
iconic.
God,
Yeah,
iconic.
and it's just like there's no like
There's no cue.
like
Yeah, yeah.
It's just kind of like he comes through and it's very blunt and then he like pulls him back, and you know what I mean? Like it just has like this real.
He shuts the door. He's like, game over.
Slams
Which
that,
is like, yeah, it's like punctuating a sentence,
Right.
Yeah, and it's so good.
Well, see, here's the thing. I remember that moment when I watched it the first time.
Yeah.
Up to that point, not that I was bored, but it was like I was just kind of chilling because there wasn't much going on. And then all of a sudden, boom. And then it's like, okay, then we were paying attention.
Yeah.
Complete attention.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so
fucking
good.
cool shit.
So good.
But so where are we at, sir?
All right. So the film opens with John Larroquette from Night Court.
Who agreed to do this movie for a joint?
I was about
Yes.
to say, did
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
know that?
Yeah.
He
Just
got
one.
paid with weed.
One weed.
Yeah.
One weed, please.
Yeah. One weed, please.
And he claims he's never watched it, by the way.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And he's done he's made money now off of like other things with this movie. I think he does like the voiceover in the remake.
He does.
And
Yeah.
stuff. But so yeah, we start to see some horrific images flash with each flash bulb that goes off, and I love the freaking sound that it uses. That
Yeah.
it's so unsettling.
It is.
It's so
I
good.
made that joke with the Burden of Beauty
yeah.
we made. That I wanted that. I was never gonna do it, but I was like, it'd be funny if we put that sound in for the flash bulbs, because like the film that we made actually does start off with like flash bulbs and like these sort of close-ups, and I was like, that'd be funny if we did that, but then I'm like, no.
yeah. I would have been for it. But yeah, it gives off like such an eerie, unsettling sound, and I think that really sets like a tone. On top of like seeing these awful images, you hear that sound and you're just like, oh, like it's like nails on a chalkboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just sounds
An
awful.
unsettling, unnatural sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as like the camera kind of unwinds, you hear that like, oh, it's so good. But then we hear like the radio talking about like locals like having like grave robbing that's happening, and like people are saying, you know, it's along the Texas Louisiana border. People are going into the grave sites and taking parts of bodies, not like even full bodies sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's when we cut.
Wait, but like I like on the radio they describe it. They said the corpses have been described as like a grisly work of art.
Yeah.
Which
like
you
they're-
see at the same time.
What you see, the
Yeah.
one like spiked up on the
Gravestone, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of like, oh, so that's where House of a Thousand Corpses came from, because it's very like Otis Driftwood,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Fish Boy.
Everything in this movie is like House of a Thousand Corpses, really.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because it's like, obviously, the old man we'll get into is kind of like Captain Spaulding. And then I would say like the hitchhiker is kind of like Otis / baby.
My next note literally says, Rob Zombie saw this movie and was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
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 But
My first movie.
that's not punching down him, because
No.
I think he did like that George Lucas thing with House of a Thousand Corpses, where like, you know, like when he made Star Wars, George
Yeah.
Lucas, how he took a bunch of like random things,
Right, Hidden
different like
Fortress.
stories. Yeah, like Kurosawa movies, Wizard of Oz, old westerns, smashed them together, made something kind of original.
Yeah.
I would say Rob Zombie did something similar to that, like where he took a bunch of random things that he like really seemed to love and smashed it together, made something authentic to him. I would say more so in that first film than maybe anything came after.
Yeah.
That feels like you're like looking into Rob Zombie's brain.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Don't you love how the radio also, after that story, during the opening credits, you still hear it going and it's talking about unrelated things?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something creepy about that to me.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah, 'cause
random stuff like cholera epidemic and a guy who jumped out of a window because a football game pissed him off or something. Some
Yeah.
random shit like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of jumping out of windows in this movie, which we'll get to later on. But yeah, then we go into the opening credits, and this is when after the opening credits we meet Sally and her brother Franklin and their friends, and they're driving along the highway in their van, and talking about the zodiac and stuff. Like Pam's like, oh, what's your sign? And she's like, has this giant book about astrology.
Apparently that was a thing in the early 70s.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
It's
like a
still a
nationwide
thing.
fad. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, it's
Every
crazy.
so often somebody comes up to me and they're like, you're like a Leo. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't even know you.
Come hang out at my house. This is what Sam and I are very much into
Yeah?
tarot and zodiac and
There you go.
astrology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. get Sam to do readings for you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel
Sam's my
embarrassed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
I'd
kind
be
of
down.
awkward. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, it's
I was going for a bit.
I mean, your bit exists. That's very much a point of view. So
Cool.
yeah,
You have Scorpio energy. I'm a fucking EJ. That's what I say.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
might be.
I don't know. I am a Scorpio.
I am also a Leo, by the way.
So am I, actually.
Oh, yeah. When's your
Yeah.
birthday?
The 2nd.
Of August?
Yeah.
Oh, mine's the 31st of July.
Oh.
Damn, look at you with the Harry Potter birthday down there.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
We had a Harry Potter themed birthday the one year. remember?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I dressed up as Harry.
I dressed up as Dumbledore and I kept the voice the whole night. Do you
did.
remember that?
I do.
Hey,
He came in with like a billowing cape and stuff. It was really magical.
Yeah.
He
I'm
like walked into
"I'm
Port Richards.
Dumbledore." And that's the voice I went with.
The real show stealer for me was when Chris Conforti showed up as Snape.
And it was like perfect.
It looked like Snape.
Yeah.
He like somehow managed to look like Alan Rickman. It was quite crazy.
It was amazing. The funny thing about that is that's the first time I met Christy, Casey's
Oh, yeah.
girlfriend. The whole night I'm doing Dumbledore, like the whole time. I'm like, yes. And even like, I'm like, when I got up for karaoke, I'm like, this goes out to the freaks in Diagon Alley, right? And I'm like just doing that the whole time. And then we're leaving, right? And I'm like, oh, it was very nice to meet you. And I talked in my normal voice, and I think it startled her. She was like, so that's what he actually sounds like.
I like when when we were talking to Casey, because it was also the first time that we
my
met
God.
Christy, and he's
Yeah.
like, first impressions are really important, and this is a bad one.
This is a bad one. But yeah, no. So
Hey, also, before we got into them in the van talking about astrology, did we get to the scene of Franklin getting to stop and urinate into a can yet?
oh no, yeah. So
And a rusty can at that. That shit made
yeah.
me so nervous.
Yeah,
I know tinnitus.
Did that happen yet? in
Yeah,
the
no,
movie?
it
Yeah,
happened.
that happens
yeah.
right away, yeah.
So one of the weird little things in this movie is that there's wheelchair shtick. There's a lot of like goofy things that happen to poor Franklin for laughs.
Yeah.
You know. Also, I feel like if they ever did remake this movie again, I would have Peter Dinklage play him.
Oh, that would be interesting.
He looks a little like Peter Dinklage.
I could see that. He actually was a theater actor. Like he acted in yeah, in like theater productions and stuff. And then in Texas, and then found out about the auditions.
And he was like, I have to be in a wheelchair and then roll down a hill.
But he was like a really good actor.
Yeah,
and you
I
could tell
like
in this movie, obviously, his performance in this movie is like probably the best actor in it. I would say him and the hitchhiker.
I don't know about all that.
You don't think
That's
so?
up for debate.
I mean, I'm a Franklin defender because I know he's like hated amongst horror fans. They find him to be very grating. I disagree.
Yeah.
I actually, if anything, I feel very sorry for him. Like that part when they're in the house, when they first get to the house, and like everyone else is sort of off, like
they leave him
giggling
outside.
and they're yeah, and he's just kind of by himself. Like you kind of get the sense that he thought they were all going to be like together and like hanging out and being friends,
And they
just kind of like ditch him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just, you can see he's kind of hurt. I don't know. I have a lot of sympathy for Franklin, but I did
I
find
love
it weird that the movie literally starts with him urinating into a can, and then a truck blows by, and then he gets startled and rolls down and probably peed all over himself. And I'm like, what is this?
Also, can we address why a truck going by made him roll down the hill?
I don't.
Did he get scared and roll forward?
I think it,
because
like,
I don't think it created enough wind to push him down the hill.
But like something from the truck when it was blown by, it looked like it like shot dirt at the van and at Franklin. It was weird. It must have went through like a puddle or something, but it's boiling out. It's like 140 degrees out, so I don't know why there's water on the road or how it happened. Nobody knows.
And he's the only one that's selling how hot it is, by the way.
He is.
He like everybody else is kind of like, in the van hanging out, and he's like, God, it's fucking hot,
Do you see the Peter Dinklage in his face though?
I do.
You see it?
I
Okay.
actually.
So I want to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
I have one other question. Do we have any Simpsons fans here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of.
Was Jerry the origin of Disco Stew?
Oh my God,
I don't know what that
100%.
is, yeah, no.
Yeah, I could see it.
All right. So all you people out there listening to the show right now, I want you to go on Google and look up a picture of Disco Stew. from The Simpsons, and you write to us at frequelpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll pretend to read your email.
We're giving homework to the listeners.
No, I don't want.
It's very
I don't
optimistic that there's listeners.
There's a couple stray dogs that like us.
Yeah, definitely cats.
Lots of cats.
Yeah, I can see
I can see it,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, 100%. So they stop at the cemetery, the gang, and they look to see about their grandfather's grave to see if like anything happened to it, and it turns out it's still intact. So they hop back in the van, and
Hey, the people though that are around the cemetery,
yeah,
like they all look to me like real people.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, they don't have like that Hollywood CW
No.
look to them. They just look like guys you would see like at a bar or something.
I think that's so effective to do
too.
that.
Yeah.
It helps you immerse yourself into the world.
Yeah. So
Including the like deliverance guy lying on the ground with the beer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think like hiring locals like that, because Sean Baker does that all the time. Like
Yeah.
Red Rocket
Yeah.
is like a perfect example where it
He
will
might
sell
be the
your
master
movie.
of that these days.
Yeah, he really is. But look how effective that is, because it really just sells that area. Because then you're like, you just buy into what is being fed to you, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you're like, oh yeah, that all these guys sound like they're from Texas. It's not like an actor trying to do a Texan accent, or like most movies today. It's like they don't even try to do an accent anymore. You know what I mean? If they're like all from Texas, it's like, hey, what are you guys doing around here? You know?
You know, it's weird because like if you watch the original My Bloody Valentine versus the remake, like all the people in that movie to me feel like real people.
Yeah.
And then you
Because
get
they
to,
all
like,
have the Canadian
yeah.
accents. Yeah.
And then you get to the remake and they all look like GQ models. They're all like real handsome and beautiful and stuff, and you're just like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in the world,
Yeah.
right? But this movie, it just feels like these are real people. Like you're watching a documentary or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think using like local people like that, actors or non-actors, is probably like the best idea that you could do, especially for a low budget film.
It's a great idea, but you know what's a bad idea? Sally, bad day to wear white pants.
I know.
Yeah.
Poor Sally.
I thought you were gonna say walking off with some old strange men in the cemetery.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
No, I do
nobody
that all the
even
time.
nobody
Yeah.
nobody even comments on that. But again, it was a different time. Nowadays, we would have all the cues. If it was a movie, I mean, we'd have all the cues. Okay, creeper over
This
here,
guy,
creeper over
yeah.
there. Yeah, we
Just
don't even
saying all
address
the
that.
wrong things.
Yeah.
Like, you sure have a pretty face. But yeah, they hop back in the van, and as they're driving, they get a whiff of the old slaughterhouse. They're all like, oh, what's that smell? And Franklin complains about the heat and shows a lot of restraint when talking about killing cows. He's like, oh man, you just hit them in the head with a hammer, and then you got to do it again. But now they have that gun, and they're just like, bow, 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 bow. And everyone's like, can you stop that, please? But
I like what's the her name's escaping at the moment, not Sally.
Pam?
I like when Pam just kind of like, she's like, people shouldn't kill animals, and I'm like, yeah, Pam,
you get it,
you're
Pam.
all right, Pam.
Yeah. I like Pam is probably my favorite.
I like Pam a lot, but it's just again because she's like, don't kill animals. I'm
Yeah.
like, I agree. You ever
I
look at a
like-
deer in the face?
I feel like I know the most about
It's
Pam.
adorable.
Like, I feel like she has like next to Franklin, the most developed character, because she, like, we know she likes astrology, she likes animals, and you just get like the whole like hippie vibe from
Yeah.
Pam, where the guys you don't really get too much from.
There are guys in the 70s.
Right. Yeah. And then I feel like, and then, Sally is kind of like chill there for a little bit, but then you get to know her like later in the movie. And then I feel like Pam and Franklin are like the most developed characters.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. So the
I
gang.
can go with that.
Yeah.
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 So the gang, they're driving along and they pick up a hitchhiker who also shows some tact when discussing how to kill cows. He's like, yeah, I worked at the slaughterhouse. And he's like all pumped. And he's like talking about how to kill cows.
And carries pictures around with him about with that.
He's like, you want to see some pictures? And he has like this little like bag.
Satchel,
yeah,
yeah.
a little satchel like made out of like animal fur.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, check out these pictures. And Franklin's like, cool, man.
Wow.
This is pretty neat. And then the hitchhiker starts cutting open his hand. Like he grabs like the knife and he starts cutting open his hand. And he realizes he's the only one into it. Like he looks around and everyone's like making a face, like a disgusted face. And he's like smiling like ear to ear. Like, you guys like that? That's pretty cool, right? And then everyone's like, no,
He
man.
is really stoked about it.
Yeah, he really is. And then he tries to take a picture of Franklin. He pulls out this camera, and this camera
It's like a serial killer camera.
so
It was the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay?
yeah. But the camera itself, it was like a transformer. Like he had to like build it up, and then he roll out. So he like takes a picture of Franklin. At first, he's like waving the camera around like from person to person to see like, oh, what's the best shot?
Yeah.
And then eventually he lands on
He's
like
an
Franklin.
artiste.
Yeah, and he takes a picture and he gives it to him. And he's like, all right, that would be $2. And Franklin's
Is it like $5 or something?
no, I think it's
Was
two.
it two?
Yeah, and I like that someone or ADR maybe, I don't know who it was, but someone goes, oh, they want him to pay for the picture.
Wait, is that for real? I never heard that line.
Yeah,
Really?
no, like
It may be ADR then. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be ADR or it could be Pam, but it's like they want him to pay for his own picture. And then the driver, Jerry, is like, really? Like it's just like a small exchange. It's
Damn,
really
I gotta
funny.
turn the
Never
volume
know-
up
yeah, I
next
never
time. Yeah,
noticed
I
that.
didn't hear
Yeah.
that. I never heard that.
And then so then he tries to sell it, and then Franklin's like, no, I'm okay, right? And the hitchhiker cuts open his arm, like he grabs like first he
first he
sets the
burns it.
fire, like sets fire to the picture. He puts like a little rocks on it and like
He
sets
does like
it up on
he
fire.
does like a Harry Potter spell.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, it definitely is like a Harry Potter spell. So he like,
Picto, no picto.
yeah. So he sets it on fire. It goes up in flames, and then he pulls out the knife and he cuts Franklin's arm, and then he hops out. And I like that. Like at one point, everyone's like, "Get out of here!" And you just see him like kind of smearing his
Yeah, he
hand.
like marks the van.
Yeah,
It's
which
like
is so
almost
cool.
Like tracking an animal or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I love how like that. Like you just think he's crazy, right? The first time.
Oh, he is.
You don't think this guy's crazy. But it actually is like foreshadowing for stuff to come, which I thought is like so brilliant. Like what a cool way to get, your story to. I don't know. I like that.
They do have a plan. Like
Right.
it seems like the family, even though things just kind of like fall into place for them, I feel like this is what they do. Like they're
Right,
planning
yeah.
for this to
Oh, yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you see all the different cars
Yeah.
that they have over the years. It's kind of like Pearl.
Hey, one other thing. So we moved past it a little bit, but like when the hitchhiker is like running towards the van.
Yeah.
And it's just like this like really beautiful looking wide. Mm-hmm. So like A24 saw that and they're like, we're gonna do that in every movie. That fucking shot. I see it like whenever like somebody's like,
So true.
like like they're competent behind the camera. There's always a shot like that.
Yeah, 100%. The armadillo, by the way, was a taxidermy. It wasn't like a real
Really?
thing. Yeah. Which the one guy talks about.
I didn't
like,
know that.
He ended up, like putting stuff around it to make it like look like a fresh kill, but it was actually something he learned how to do taxidermy just so he could like put it together and they could like use it all day long.
See, I have different facts. That armadillo actually went to acting school. This was his big break.
Yeah.
This was not a dummy or anything like that. He actually put the work in.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
pretty
I've seen him
interesting.
in anything else though.
Yeah.
Well, he gave up acting after this.
Yeah.
It was an unpleasant experience for him.
He was in Unnecessary Roughness.
I think
which
he was
pretty good.
I think he made. Yeah, I think
Scott
that
Bakula?
that was actually his last role.
Yeah.
He actually owns a hardware store now.
Yeah.
And not in Texas. He actually moved to Wisconsin.
He used to live in Amarillo, Texas.
Armadillo, Texas. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So they then stop for gas, and unfortunately, the gas tank both were empty. So the guy who runs the station tells them not to mess around looking for the Franklin house. And at one point I went, Franklin's named Franklin.
Right.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh no, they say their last name later on, but I was like, wait, his name is Franklin.
That threw me too.
Yeah,
because he's like, oh, I'm going to the old Franklin house. I'm like,
wait,
what?
And that's how they
in the
address
third
it.
person.
That's how the cook addresses it too. The Franklin house. Doesn't he say it too?
Yeah. I was like, is he speaking in third person?
Yeah, it's like going to the Franklin house.
Hey, one other thing I blew past in my notes about the hitchhiker.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure all my teachers thought I was going to end up like him. I don't know why I wrote that.
Did you run across the road like blowing raspberries like he does when they throw them out of the van? Did you see that?
Yeah.
The old print that I watched from like the early 2000s, that sound wasn't in there, so you just saw him doing this fucking stupid thing, but there was no sound.
Yeah.
And now the new versions have that sound added back in, so you could actually hear the raspberries. But it's like,
oh, that's neat.
yeah.
this movie is full of raspberries.
I actually do that to people on my way here.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. I actually hitchhike until I get here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I cut people on the arm. It's a whole thing.
it's a whole thing. And take pictures.
One other thing too, the guy washing the window.
Yeah,
Where's he?
where is
Did
he?
he just work there, or is he like part of the whole thing?
He might
Is
be
that
like
like
just a
their-
local.
I think he's just there.
So that's not like their Uncle Bart.
I don't know.
No, look
It
into
could
it.
be.
Don't say no. We don't
Yeah.
know.
We don't know. But yeah, so the guy, he's like, yeah, you don't want to go around there. You're gonna just find trouble if you go that way. But they ignore his warnings anyways. So when they get to the grandfather's house, the Franklin house, they notice that the hitchhiker marked their van with his blood. And Franklin is like the only one that is suspicious of this.
Who
and
thinks?
Yeah, he's like, I think this guy's gonna follow us.
That looks like a symbol or something.
Yeah, he's like, I think this guy might try to follow us, guys. And everyone's like, no, Franklin, shut up. And so they go into the Franklin house and they're looking around.
Wait. So on their way out, they took home some barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Which
what
would have
he's
been
eating?
a
Yeah,
Because
person.
that's
it's
definitely
fucking-
people.
It's
Yeah.
gross.
There's
It's
no way that's
sausage.
not people.
Yeah.
Sausage.
And yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they go around and inspect the grandfather's house. And I like when the one guy like walks into the one room and he just sees like the spiders.
The spider nest.
Yeah, the
that's
spider
creepy.
nest.
They're
It's so
actually
creepy.
they're daddy long legs.
Yeah.
Did you see the Nicolas Cage one?
Yeah.
Did you see
It's
that?
like, Mama!
Yeah.
Daddy!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see him there?
Yeah, it was good.
This is his debut.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought you could just see his
I've
long
been
white
waiting
hair.
all night to make that
You
joke.
son of a bitch. So, I love how like Franklin starts making fun of them with his like raspberries. He's like, "Oh yeah, whatever, Franklin."
Yeah. Oh my God.
But
I love it.
one thing about this scene though, it's kind of going back to what I was saying before.
Yeah.
I think he's hurt.
No, absolutely,
no doubt.
They all bail on him.
They all bail, and he's just like
It just feels like
left
like a
alone.
third wheel. Oh, that's terrible.
Wow.
Sorry,
Rory.
sorry. I'm sorry, Franklin.
Do you want me to give you a minute?
No, I'm okay with what I said.
Okay.
But no, I think he just feels like he was part of the group,
Yeah,
and then as like throughout the journey, in the van to the house, I think he just really understands that he's kind of like not.
He's just there.
Yeah, he's not like
They
a
just drug him
friend, or
along.
that they want him to be there. They look at him
Yeah.
as like a burden and stuff. So I don't know. I think that's sad.
But isn't it perfect how right after he's done doing his 50,000 raspberries, he goes and wheels away and then whacks his hand, pinches his hand against the wall when he hits the doorway?
Every
Yeah.
time I watch this movie, I laugh hysterically at that part.
Yeah.
It's a really funny scream that he does. He's like, ah!
Yeah.
I love him.
I like Franklin a lot too.
This poor guy like fell down a hill. His arms all scraped up. His arm got knifed up and then or razored up. Right, like the hitchhiker cut his arm, and then he hits his hand, and you laugh at that.
Well, it's
I do.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's like that's what I was saying before. It's like wheelchair shtick.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a different time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's the biggest part.
I like that
yeah, it
there's
says Banks-
representation.
it says
That-
Banks,
I'll
his
say
hand-
that. Like, I actually like it, Franklin, because it's like representation, and I think that's awesome.
Shut up. No, okay.
Yeah, I will.
What target audience are you going at?
You know the audience. So
No, I had my notes, so it says Franklin bangs hand off the door frame. Hilarious.
You actually have that written there?
I did.
So Kirk
I'm a
and
weird guy, Brent.
I see that.
So Kirk and Pam decide to go off swimming in a nearby water hole, right? Is that what they say?
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so they get down there and they see it's all like dried out. And that's when Kirk spots a house and he's like, oh my gosh, you know what? I could probably barter and, give my guitar.
Give him my
for
guitar.
gas.
Give him $20. Pick up my guitar. He has a
Yeah.
whole fucking plan going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
She's just like, that's not gonna fucking work,
yeah, I like the Pam's like,
idiot.
dude, that sucks. Like, your plan sucks. And he's like, no, let's just go. Ooh, look, they have a generator. And
I think that's what first catches his attention. Isn't that he doesn't see the house, he hears the
Yeah,
generator.
for sure.
yeah. And
One little thing about this location, I love. There's just, I mean, obviously we've seen the movie a lot, so you know what that house is and what the location is.
Yeah.
But then there's like these sunflowers that are like against this horrific thing.
Oh yeah,
It's-
growing up on the side of the house.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so like disturbingly beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Do you know that now they turned that house into a bed and breakfast?
yeah.
Is
No,
that real?
see, yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
real.
Yeah,
You
It's
could
not in the
literally
same-
stay there and
it's-
eat there and stuff.
It's in a
yeah.
different spot. Like they actually picked up the house and moved it to somewhere. But yeah, it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
Is-
And it has like a TCM themed like
Oh,
gift shop
really?
in it, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That's
on
awesome.
my bucket list to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
You should try the barbecue.
Yeah.
I
That's what
absolutely
everybody
will.
says.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely will.
I think I would like freak out like walking up to that house. I mean, in a good way. I would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is real.
I'm
I
gonna
can't
do
believe
it
this is
here."
real. This is it.
I was
This is-
waiting. I was
yeah.
waiting for that.
Yeah.
I just want to. But yeah, they decided to check out this house and.
Oh,
Kirk-
did you guys, by the way, did you know that they invented a new technology for this movie? It was called butt cam. Did you catch that?
Bug can.
Butt cam.
Really? I don't know if you're joking or not.
No,
I think
I'm
he's
definitely joking. But no, seriously, there's a lot of like low angles of all the girls, and I'm like, it doesn't seem like it needs to be
But
there.
this was really I don't know if this was the first film to do that though, was it?
No, because at this time, remember in the last episode we were talking about the cigar smoking weirdo producers?
Yep.
They're all just like, you gotta get butts in these movies.
Yeah.
You gotta get butts to get
Yeah.
butts
That
in
makes
the seats.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took it as like a psychological thing, where that low angle kind of sells like the house as like this big entity.
It's not just the house. This thing happens throughout the
No,
movie.
I know, no, but no, like the one shot in particular, right? Like where
She's walking
Pam's
to the house.
walking to
Yeah.
the house,
Or
and
like
I
when
feel like
they're
it
at
sells it.
I would say the gas station is probably the first instance.
Oh yeah, when
And
they're
it's
at
just
the
like
vending
Sally
machine
and
and it's
Pam.
right angled
Because
up.
I think
yeah.
Becca called that out. She's like, why
just
are there
like
so
the
many butt
butts.
shots? Like,
There's
oh
a
my
lot of
god.
butts in this. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of just like the shot, her walking
Yeah,
to the
that's
house.
awesome. That's a great like.
Yeah,
reveal.
I feel like
Yeah.
it just like feels like this big dangerous place.
disorienting and
Yeah,
foreboding.
Well,
Yeah.
so Toby Hooper actually said that because they're cannibals, he wanted to be coming from the juiciest part
oh,
and be watching.
see, yeah,
That's not true. You're making that shit up.
He's just
That's
making
bullshit.
no, that's real. That's real.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
See, I told you. Yeah, they actually seem like they believed it.
I did. I was like,
Well, just like
Mike-
the butt cam thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they did. I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe they.
could have got
That's a
me.
new
I
thing.
sometimes like I say these things and then I forget to have like facial expressions. So people are like, "Is he serious?" What a psychopath.
But imagine a contraption. They're like, hey, we're gonna attach this, and it's like for your butt, right? And they're just wearing this like weird contraption that like they're walking, and it just looks like a giant thing behind them.
Butt contraption.
Yeah, it looks like a snail thing.
Yeah, it's gonna take.
I mean, they
off.
have done that for movies for the front cams.
Yeah.
Right.
where
Yeah.
People are wearing them in the.
Yeah,
so
for like disoriented
that's
shots.
actually
yeah.
why I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe this is the first time they started doing something like
Yeah.
that?
They developed
That
brand
seems
new.
like a pretty heavy camera to be doing that
yeah.
for them. But
It was breaking in butt technology.
Yeah. but
God.
Kirk, knocks on the door, and that's when it kind of like opens, and we see Pam. She's like, "All right, you go ahead. I'm
Wait,
just gonna go
but,
sit
like,
down."
At one point, they're like standing by the door. And like
Yeah, he finds a
Oh, the
tooth.
tooth, yeah.
Yeah.
I so badly wanted Pam to turn around and smile, and there'd just be like this missing tooth. Big smile, there's a missing tooth there.
She's like one of her front
Yeah.
teeth.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for the record, I love that little moment where he puts it in her hand because it just doesn't seem, not that we know that much about him to start with, but it doesn't seem like it's in character for him, but it's hilarious. And her reaction is so genuine where she's just like, ugh. And then
Yeah.
she gets up and walks away.
She's like, I'm gonna sit over here on the bench.
Yeah.
There's also a great thing happening where like he's not taking this stuff seriously, and you as an audience member feel like that tension, like they're getting closer and closer and closer, going into like the lion's den, as they say.
Yeah.
And it's just like it really just helps milk that feeling of like suspense.
Yeah.
'Cause he's just like, oh look, there's just like a tooth on the porch for no good reason.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a back molar?
How funny is that?
Hey, I'll put it in my girlfriend's hand because that's not gross.
There's one shot
She's
later
like,
on.
well, I'm a dental hygienist. It doesn't do shit for me.
There's one shot later on that's really, I think, like the eeriest shot. And we'll get there
Was it
eventually.
from the butt cam?
Yeah, it's from the butt cam.
Yeah, man.
But
I
yeah,
forgot to take it off during bathroom breaks.
yeah. Oh no.
Oh, no, turn it off.
No. Joey Hooper's like, I don't know.
That's all right.
It's all right.
That was my Toby pooper.
So
Oh, this is like the lowbrow shit that you get on this show.
yeah.
We are not adults.
So Kirk knocks on the door and it opens slowly. So he's just like, you know what? I'll walk in. And
This usually means come on in.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
the door just slowly opens, it usually means
yeah, I should go into this person's house. Yeah.
for sure.
Especially when you
Yeah.
hear weird noises coming from down the hall.
Yeah, so at one point he starts to hear noises, like pig noises, and he's like, "Hello, hello."
Pig?
Yeah, it's
Is
like
that you?
wait. And so he goes down.
Can I hear that again?
I can't do a good
did
pig
very- you
noise.
did a good job.
I don't know.
You did good.
I'm trying.
You're getting
So-
a treat later.
There's only two
yes.
with headphones, so we don't actually even know.
Yeah. So Kirk walks up to the door, and that's when Leatherface pops out and bops him right in the head with his hammer.
It is the best reveal of a killer in any movie.
Yeah. The most unexpected.
So unsettling.
Yeah.
Even just the way he looks is so striking. Like still today, like you know, sometimes you watch like an older movie and like sometimes you're just like, oh, like the makeup is or whatever. It is so disgusting looking, and he's so like he's so tall, and he just like fills out the frame of the door.
Yeah, he just has like such a presence.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
in complete control, and then he bops him on the head, drags him in, and just shuts that metal door down.
Well, even before, so he bops him on the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk like falls to the ground, almost like he's dead, and you're like, oh, he's probably dead. Then his body starts twitching,
Yeah.
and I think that even sells it more that like the
Yeah.
body is like experienced so much trauma,
Yeah.
that it like starts like twitching, and you're like, holy shit! And then that's when he pulls him in and closes the
it's
door.
so awesome.
It's like Jigsaw, and he's like, game over.
So,
Yeah.
so with Kirk walking into the house without being invited, right? Does this movie change context for you?
Yeah, it's all self-defense.
To me, it's about Leatherface fighting off home invaders.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a prequel to Home Alone.
It is. This is it. Don't get scared now.
This is it. Don't be scared.
I mean, it's a valid point, and I guess we'll talk about that more later because it happens like 3 more times.
Yeah.
Everybody just walks in.
Yeah. Everyone's just
Like,
treating that house like it's their own.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
my friends are missing. Do you guys happen to know anything
What
about
are you
that?
talking about? Yeah. But then we cut to Pam, who decides to check on Kirk. So she's like, I don't know. Like, they don't say, like, or allude that she hears it, right? But she just gets, like, a feeling something happened. So she gets up and she goes into the house. And we get this great scene where she goes into the one room. It's filled with, like, bones and carcass and a chicken. And
In a cage. Clarify.
I remember when
a chicken in a cage. Yeah.
I remember when Becca found my bone room.
Yeah.
God.
And then there's like bone furniture from IKEA, and
And just random like nuts and bolts, literally like lying like tools and shit all over the place.
yeah. And I feel like the chicken was like, "Get me out of here."
Hey, do me a favor. I know you don't know me.
Yeah.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Please get me out of here. But Pam gets freaked out and tries to run off, but Leatherface hooks her onto a meat hook.
That part where she's trying to book it out the door and
Yeah.
he pulls her back in.
Oh my
That
God.
is nightmare fuel.
It is.
Yeah.
That's
It
like
is.
like one of those weird ass dreams where you can't get away from something. It starts feeling very like horrifying.
And it does not feel staged. Like she's like
No.
screaming at the top of her lungs. She's thrashing here, legs, arms, everything, and he's just carrying her.
Yeah,
Like, that's not like acting.
No, I feel like it doesn't feel rehearsed. It feels a very like real, like in the moment.
yeah. I mean, I feel like even like the script in general just feels like it's not scripty, and this movie doesn't feel staged. It just feels like you're watching a fucked up documentary or something.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that hook scene when I was a kid. Adam and I were watching it, and we see like him put her on that hook. We're like, holy shit! Like, how do you do? Like, even like trying to figure out like how they do that shot, you know? Because you're like a kid, you're not like thinking
sure.
like,
I was the same way.
yeah. I was like, how do they do that? And then I see like the little cut that they make to make it like happen. But what a freaking great thing, because she really sells it. This is why I'm saying like Pam is such a great actress in this movie, because like you literally
She looks
feel
terrorized.
like that hook in your back. It's not, it's in her back, but like her acting really makes you feel like you're like, oh man, I can't even imagine what that feels like.
Can I make one critique?
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So like when he puts her on the hook, right, and she screams,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be better if they dubbed in hooked on a feeling, right? Wouldn't that have been better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm believing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. You just don't understand cinema.
That's true.
I guess so.
Another one of those things. One of those things I've been waiting all night
Another
Well,
one.
no,
put
man.
on there.
You got
Sorry.
a list.
But yeah, he puts her on this
Crossed
hook.
it off.
They're gonna love this.
Yeah.
It obviously killed. That wasn't for you guys, though. That was
No, that crushed,
For
man.
the listeners, the 20-year-old listeners.
Yeah.
for all those people that like that song.
Dude, I liked it.
Yeah, well,
You can't see right now, but
You
I
did
liked
a
it.
good job.
thanks,
yeah.
man.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Sorry about that Leo crack I made before.
Oh,
Sorry.
There's no offense taken.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Are you a Leo too?
No,
What are you?
I'm a Libra.
Oh.
I figured.
He retracts that statement now.
October 12th.
October 8th.
Ah, damn. So close.
Jeez, look at you.
I know. I tried. But yeah. So he puts Pam up on this hook, and a little salt to the injury. He pulls out Kirk's dead body and just starts chaining, like using the chainsaw to carve up the body right in front of her. So it's not like only is she in like dire pain, but there's her boyfriend just getting carved up on a table. And that's when it cuts away. Thank
And
God.
you don't see anything. It's
No,
all
yeah.
hidden. But you don't need to see anything.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
And also, they were using a real chainsaw. You guys probably know that. It was like 3 inches from his face, and it's like, don't move, or you really will die.
yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did they keep the chain on?
Yeah.
Oh my, really?
Holy
They
shit.
didn't have the budget to have a safety crew. Come on now.
That's what I'm saying. Like the movie just has like this very like raw, authentic kind of thing to it.
I mean, I get it. And they're just like, buy a chainsaw. That's what we're gonna use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally what they did, and they put a piece of duct tape over the company so that they wouldn't get sued.
Yeah,
I'm
that
serious.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Sally and Jerry discuss the hitchhiker with Franklin. And Jerry's really like teasing Franklin at this point. And at one point he's like, you know what? It's getting dark. I'm going to go check on the other guys and see, you know, if we could get going. So Jerry goes to the house and he finds Pam in the freezer. I love the lead up. Like, so Pam is in this freezer. She looks dead. Suddenly she opens her eyes and like pops up, and Jerry's like, holy shit, and he freaks out. And then out of nowhere, that's when like Leatherface pops out.
That's like that shot of her in the freezer is like really, it is very disturbing.
Yeah.
It really works.
More nightmare
yeah,
fuel.
nightmare fuel for sure.
And he kills Jerry with a hammer again, using a hammer. And
Then runs to the window. Now, don't we love that part? That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Because I swear, I could be wrong about this because it's been a long time since I heard this. But I think Toby Hooper or whoever, somebody said on a commentary once, the meaning of that scene where he like hits Jerry with the sledgehammer and then he starts yelling and then runs to the window. It's
freaking
like,
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the reason he's looking out the window, he's being like, where are all these people coming from and why do they keep coming in my house?
oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, that must link up with this other thing of Toby Hooper wrote like the grunts and sounds that he wanted to make and then told Gunnar like, this is what I want you to be feeling, or
Yeah.
like tried to act this with these grunts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes that fact seem more real based on that.
Yeah.
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 Couple quick little things leading up to the freezer moment. There's this really cool shot. It's like a wide of Disco Stew is what I'm going to be calling him.
Yeah.
Disco Stew walking, like it looks like he's like walking towards the sun, and there's this really fucking cool lens
yes.
flare that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
off.
Oh my
I
God,
really like
love
that. There's also a really great shot of Disco Stew looking through the screen. It's like the camera's placed on the opposite side of the
Yeah,
screen.
That's his
Looking through the front
IMDb
door.
picture too.
Is it? It's
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
a real dirty looking shot. It's like really,
Yeah.
really, really neat.
It's so dark, and the only light is coming from like the figure of like
Yeah.
good in the movie. So
Yeah.
I love that.
And then
love
I
that.
also like that the curtains seem to be made from burlap sacks, and I think that's just a funny detail.
Yeah, I mean the set decoration in this movie is like, I
Like these
don't.
crazy people made this. Like it
Yeah.
feels literally no. It feels like every like little design choice
Yeah.
was made by the people that actually occupy the space, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes like movies like they have like the killer living in a house and it's just a spooky house and there's no character to it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, well, I'll make it dark. We'll have like a fucking thing hanging from the ceiling, and there's
Yeah.
no like personality to it. But
Yeah.
this just feels like those people would live there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I actually have a thought about that too. So this house is very lived in,
yeah.
right? And then Sally and Franklin are going back to their grandparents' house.
Right.
And I think it's been like what, a decade or something since they've been there.
At least.
So this family, the Sawyer family, living in this house, who are neighbors,
Right.
like, have they been there since Franklin and Sally have been coming? Because this house, only 10 years worth of bones. Like, so either they were neighbors and this is just a stockpile of decades,
Right.
or within the time that Sally and Franklin haven't been coming around, all the town went to shit,
Right.
and now they have this disgusting dilapidated house.
Yeah.
Because also like the cook doesn't recognize them, and
Right.
if he's been around since
Right.
they've been around.
And I
That is
like,
a little bit of a plot hole.
well, I would put it this
Yeah.
way, like we don't know how far of a walk it really is.
They seem like they get there
Yeah.
pretty.
It seems like a quick
They
thing,
heard the
but
generator, yeah.
Yeah.
but like like they don't hear the generator to the watering hole, which is like
Behind the
midway
house.
Ways
point,
away.
maybe,
Yeah,
or
it's-
like whatever.
I
but-
also just want to know, like, when that house that the dad lived in, like, it seemed like it just was like abandoned
I was
for
about to
like
say, yeah.
like 40 years.
Right, because it's only been a while since he's actually been dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, does this motherfucker not have furniture? Or,
Right.
but like,
Right.
but no, I mean it's fine. It's just like
Yeah.
a small little thing that did jump out at me last night, where I'm like, how long has that house been abandoned for?
Well, because my other thought of like as an answer to what I'm saying is that they haven't been neighbors. That they seem like they're nomadic type people.
right.
That like, especially because you look at Texas Chainsaw 2,
Yeah.
and they're living in that underground.
Like
Amusement
castle
park or
thing.
whatever.
Yeah.
The fuck. Yeah.
So like to me, like they're moving around as a possible answer. As like maybe they just move around.
Okay, but at the same time though, it's like, are they bringing their bones with them?
Right. So yeah, that's where the confusion comes through. Of like
I think it's probably just like a thing. Like
All the
when
grave robbing though, too.
That's
like,
true.
You know, like
they're taking the bones home.
yeah, like they're taking different parts and stuff home. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they're talking about all the grave robbing that's happening, so maybe that's part of it too. Is like,
You ever got the sense that maybe those bones were just from people that they probably like ate?
Oh no,
Well,
that
I think
too.
it's a mix
Yeah,
of both of
part
those
of it,
things.
yeah.
because all those cars that are abandoned,
Yeah, those are clearly the
right? Like,
victims.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, here's the thing. There's a real thing that happens actually every day when they find like a serial killer. What's the thing that people always say? They're like,
You walk by a serial killer.
like I do every day. I see myself in the mirror.
He seemed like a
I
pretty
knew it.
normal guy.
Yeah, they seem like
Oh, yeah,
a,
he
like
was such a nice guy,
very
yeah.
normal,
Yeah.
quiet. I would never expect because like it isn't uncommon for people
All the time.
to like uncover shit like that in people's houses, like John Wayne Gacy, people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that it doesn't gel for me is just that the condition of that house that the father lived in. I'm just like that's-
Grandfather, yeah.
grandfather. I'm
And
sorry.
there was a point we didn't address it earlier, but right before Kirk and Pam go to the watering hole, there's a moment where Franklin sees something. The implication, like I don't know what it is, but like this fucking thing lying on the ground, and then he looks
Yeah.
up and there's like a
weird,
grotesque like decoration there.
Yeah.
The implication being that the Sawyers have been there and have been whatever doing
stuff
whatever
there,
there, yeah,
too.
or just hanging
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and it's never addressed again.
Right.
But
no, that's
That's another good point because in future like sequels too, like even like spin-offs, so things that aren't directly what Toby Hooper had imagined, but like they say that they are like a historical part of that town. Like so, like this is the Texas Chainsaw 3D with whatever her face is as the niece.
Alexandra Daddario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's playing Leatherface's niece, right? That's
Yeah,
who,
yeah.
right? Or cousin or
Yeah.
whatever. So like
I see the family resemblance.
Yeah.
but the story in that, even though it's supposed to be a sequel to this, is
Yeah.
saying that this family has been part of this town for
Right.
a long time,
Yeah.
and they just all knew. So,
Oh yeah, because they
Yeah.
also do that I think in the fourth one, right? It seems like people are aware.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
And
exactly.
they,
So,
also,
yeah.
they also do it in part 2 with the chili bowl competition. Remember when the
Right.
cook is making that fucking chili?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
they win, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, maybe it's just a giant fucking conspiracy.
maybe.
Maybe they make really good barbecue, and people are like, "Do what you gotta do to get that barbecue."
Sam actually, we went on a stint of like I would tell her like scenes or a quick little idea from like a horror movie. I was like, oh, can you make this a sticker or a shirt? So she made me a little Sawyer family deli sticker.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's funny.
I know, like from the documentary, they were talking about they based so Ed Gein, serial killer, American Psycho. No, but Ed Gein was the inspiration because he would be a grave robber, digging up stuff and making bone
Skin
furniture
lamps and stuff.
Yeah. And so they talked about that in the documentary that is like the basis of why there's like bone furniture and all that. Like, so they really pulled from real life stuff.
it's
yeah,
weird.
which is kind of crazy. You know?
Ed Gein, he was like the inspiration for a lot of
So many
cinematic
things.
Yeah.
Silence of the
Psycho.
Lambs.
Psycho, Silence of the Lambs,
Silence of the Lambs, yeah.
Paddington.
Paddington in
Yep.
Peru.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah. That hat, that's made of skin.
I don't want marmalade sandwiches anymore.
It's like,
I
you
want
use my
meat.
bear skin by your fucking fireplace. I'm going to wear it every day. Shit.
Go on.
So Sally and Franklin are now waiting alone in the dark. And Franklin begs to go back to the gas station. He's like, come on, Sally, let's just go back to the gas station. Right? And she's like, no, we got to wait for Jerry. Right? She doesn't even give a shit
No,
about
she
Kirk or
doesn't
Pam.
care about those two. Like,
Yeah.
fuck them. As long as my boyfriend's back.
Yeah. And then he's really insistent. He's like, Franklin's like the only one that's kind of like,
Sensible.
I have a bad feeling this whole time, guys.
And it's like I have that in my notes. It says Franklin's plan on leaving is solid.
Yeah, yeah. And so Sally and Franklin end up heading off, right? And at one point, Franklin even's like, "Oh man, they got the keys," you know. And so they're like, "Okay, let's just go to the watering
He's
hole."
like really pressing her nerves too.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
She's just
so
gotten to the
bad.
point where she's like, I mean, she's being.
Oh,
really
she
good
really
about it.
lays into him. She's like, "I can't do this."
I can't care.
Yeah. And so, so Sally and Franklin head off into the woods to find their friends.
How she's able to push him over uneven ground with
Oh,
fucking
it's
brushing
so
in the
tough.
dark.
Yeah.
Okay, I just
Did you
can't
see
even-
her guns?
Yeah. Yeah. Sally guns. So as they head into towards the watering hole, that's when out pops Leatherface. One of the best.
Another jump
scare.
Yeah.
Like not even. It's so freaking good though. It's like you don't expect it at all, and then here he comes. He pops out, and poor Franklin gets like the brunt of, the chainsaw.
And again, you see nothing.
Right.
Gore-wise, you see nothing.
Yeah,
did
but you
think-
feel it, like
right,
you know what I
yeah.
mean. That's crazy.
I did think it was weird when he when Leatherface was like cutting him up, and Sally was like, "Oh no, stop."
She did actually. The funny thing is, she didn't even do that. She's just like, "Oh no," and she just ran away. Like she didn't.
Somewhere in her head, she had relief.
Yeah.
See you later,
no doubt.
loser.
She's like, "If I survive this, my
like-
life's gonna be a little less
She
annoying."
said, "Thank fucking God."
That's you, not me,
Yeah.
idiot.
But yeah, she just books it.
Thanks, Franklin. Gotta go.
But yeah, no. So Sally, unfortunately, being chased by Leatherface, makes it to his house, and at one point, she sees all the horrific stuff in this house.
They're
and
using like blue gels or something. There's like this blue
Milk.
moonlighting. Yeah, milk. Like to create this it's like a filter to give it like the whole outside and everything like that blue lighting, and it's
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
spooky.
Oh yeah. No, it looks so good. It looks really good. All the night scenes, again, for like a really low budget movie,
They look great.
they look so
Remember we
good.
watched Cry Wolf and we couldn't fucking see what was happening in the beginning?
I was like, why are they going all in on the flashlights for their lighting?
Would there be like a filmmaking reason for the night scenes to have that blue filter on it, or like
It kind of creates that illusion of like moonlight for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah, exactly.
And also like you just don't want to have it just be out in the dark because then you're like, what's
Then you're gonna be like, I can't see what's going on.
Can't
Yeah.
see
And then it loses the suspense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it adds enough, like I think,
It gives you enough to like
texture to
yeah.
like
Right.
stuff that like certain reflection, like light reflecting off of things, that it looks really cool, like moonlight, like you said.
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
like that's the thing. Like you can't just have your characters out in like what real nighttime looks
Pitch
like
black,
because you
yeah.
can't see anything.
Right.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like it creates like depth too. You know what I mean? Like so,
Yeah.
you could just have like a tree line there,
Right.
but it adding like the filter and the like right lighting, it
Yeah.
kind of creates like depth and like shadows,
Right.
giving it like more character, more like lived in kind of stuff. So
That makes sense.
I just want to ask you guys a question. So like there's a scene where like they're in the woods and he's chasing her and she's like running and stuff. Would you like to see a slasher film where the slasher was chasing the girl and she was an Olympic athlete?
yeah,
So she's just like
I could do this all day.
and he's just like
That'd be
Leatherface
pretty
is hunched over.
You bitch!
Oh god.
You fucking bitch!
Those are between the movie victims.
Yeah.
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 It'd be funny. She's also like a pole vaulter.
Yeah, oh my god. She just pole vaults into the window.
Okay, so this is a different episode, but I think in the last other episode, whatever, the Leprechaun episode, we talked about Friday the 13th. I read the comics, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There is a Friday the 13th Leatherface or Texas Chainsaw crossover comic. in
Dialogue
which
must be killer.
Jason goes is at the family, and the cook, I can't remember if it's the hitchhiker. It must be the hitchhiker who like meets Jason and is like, "You're one of us. Come with me. Come meet my family."
Yeah.
So he brings them to the house, and you got the cook and Grandpa and Leatherface and Jason build like this unspoken bond because they're like, we're the same.
Yeah.
And then, so fast forward to the end of the story in which they, the Sawyer family crosses the line. Jason doesn't approve. So Jason kills them, or tries to kill them, and then Leatherface is conflicted by this because I thought he was I thought we were the same, and then they fight each other, and neither one of them kills each other. They disperse.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What's like the one thing that like Jason's like, whoa?
Yeah. What pushes him?
Was
over
it
the
killing-
line?
I think it's
kid?
cannibalism. I think it's that they're going to eat people.
Oh.
Now I thought it was because they didn't recycle.
I mean that's 1A.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that first moment where you realize something was wrong.
Yeah.
It's like
I only
guys-
see the trash can.
Yeah, well, no. What's weird is that you guys have a trash can and a recycling bucket, but you just put everything in the trash.
Yeah. What?
What kind of monsters are you?
Yeah. What day is trash pickup? Like, I'll put it out for you. Just.
And why don't you have an altar to all your dead family members like I do? My mom has a whole ass altar to
Yeah,
herself.
I got her head on a shelf. You need to come over. It brings the room together.
Really ties it together, guys. My little shed, it's shit
awesome.
without it. Yeah.
Leatherface and Jason are just laying on the bedroom floor, kicking their feet, like, "Oh, this is my mom."
They're like kicking their legs.
Did you ever kill someone without a machete? Oh, fuck yeah, man. I fucking do it all the time.
All the time. My hands?
Yeah.
Your hands?
Whatever's
Your
laying,
hands?
whatever's laying around, really.
I do arrows. I don't care. Spears.
Hey, you know what's weird? I never actually used a chainsaw.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Like when I was growing up,
And then there's a montage. Let me tell you about
my best friend.
It's like Leatherface teaching Jason how to do it. He's like behind his
Jason
back
just-
holding it.
Jason just can't get it right. It's like the only weapon he
It's
can't
like
figure out.
them trying to pull the chain and he just can't get it. He's like,
Oh, then like at one point Jason starts it and he like runs up ahead and he's like acting like Leatherface with it. And Leatherface has his hands on his hips. He's just like, "That's my boy."
And then they roll down the hill together, just laughing. Like,
Yeah. See, we got a good movie
yeah, this
going
is good.
on.
Yeah,
I like that.
I want to see it.
yeah.
So, yeah, Sally runs into the house and she runs upstairs eventually and jumps out the second story window to escape. And
That terrifies me, that jump, because
Yeah.
first of all, how she was able to get up and, well, she limps away, but still, how she was able to get up, because I think you would have been fucking dead if that was real.
Oh,
Not
right.
to mention she lands right next to those concrete stairs. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if she landed on those stairs?
Right.
No more running.
well, that and you know what's I love the attention to detail in this movie. So she jumps through the window and she's all like bloodied from like the
Her shirt in the
glass
back is
breaking
like
and
ripped
stuff.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most movies, like, people jump out a window and they, like, get up and there's, like, a little bit of dirt. And they're like, okay,
Yeah,
let's
okay.
go.
Next.
But, like-
yeah,
Like
low brush.
Trish and Friday 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
She's just like,
she does
I'm
cartwheels
okay.
out that window, but then gets
Yeah.
right back up.
Yeah. Right? Like, I don't know. But it would have been cool if you see, like, she's picking glass out of her skin.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's, like, I know it's gross, but I think of that, like, plays into, like, you know, and you're, like, pulling the glass out. And then you're
AJ
like,
got
oh,
some
shit,
weird
I gotta
kinks over
run.
here.
Yeah,
Weird
yeah.
kinks over here.
I know. It's called glasturbation.
Oh, hey.
Highly
Where's my
recommended.
quarter jar? Get that shit back here.
But yeah, no, I love. She jumps out and she runs all the way back to the gas station while Leatherface is like not that far behind her. And so the gas station attendee, the old man, he like calms her down a little bit, and I love when he leaves to get his truck. This is like one of my favorite shots in this movie.
The barbecue.
He leaves the door wide open, and you're just anticipating something bad to happen like the whole time. And it builds up and builds up and builds up. And because like nothing's coming through that door, and you're just waiting for something to happen because you know like he wasn't that far behind. And then all of a sudden you just see like his truck like backing up, and there's like this moment of like relief, and then he comes back in, and then he like hits her with the broom.
Well, he sweeps the floor with her.
Right. Oh yeah. It's like sweep the leg.
I thought it was weird though when he was backing up the car and she looked out the door and she saw Leatherface gassing up the chainsaw.
Yeah. It's like I thought you said you had no gas.
It just shows him like waiting there,
Yeah.
waiting for it to fill up.
That
like,
same pose, just hands on his hips, like, come on.
he's
It's the worst part of the job.
That's the worst part of the job.
$4 for regular. Jesus, and I'm the monster.
What's going on with these prices?
So again, that scene though with the broom, like
Yeah.
the broom assault, let's call it. Again, it just seems so real, doesn't it? Like seems like and he snaps it in half at one point.
Yeah,
The
he
broom.
like snaps it in half.
Yeah, so it seems like he's really attacking her with it.
Yeah, he's like hitting her with the broom, and not like the wooden part, but like the actual like bristles. Yeah,
Stop it.
it's like, And you're like, yeah, I mean, it's effective. He knocks like the knife out of her hand.
Yeah.
And then he has like the sack that he like throws over her and then puts her in the back of the truck. And, puts her in the truck. And I love as he's driving along, he's like talking all this shit and he keeps like kind of nudging her with the broom.
At her
Yeah.
with the
Yeah, he like is poking her with like the end of the broom. He's like, yeah, what do you think of that, huh? And he's like a 1950s
He is very
gangster.
excited.
He's great.
Yeah.
I think like
Is that supposed to be like a phallic gesture?
I was just about to say, there's probably a sexual component.
Yeah,
I think
there's
so.
a little
I
bit of
think
a
so.
thing going on there that's a
Yeah.
little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I do like though when psychopaths try to have a sense of humor about things because he's like cracking jokes. He says something to like he's like, "Oh, cost of electricity is enough to drive a man out
yeah.
of business."
that's so good. Yeah, because he gets in the van or in the truck. I mean,
Then
and then he's like, he turns it on the truck, and then he's like, oh no, and he turns off the truck, runs back in, turns off the lights at the gas station. He's like, electricity's so expensive these days.
Enough to drive a man out of business. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can see me performing chuckles next week.
I love that he's paying his bills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got to keep up appearances.
Yeah, that's true. At least he's good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time like somebody comes to turn off the electricity, they just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy returns and we see, he's hitting her a couple times. And as it turns out, this guy is obviously in on it. And
Clearly.
he puts Sally in the truck,
Captain Spaulding.
drives back to the Leatherface house at this point. And when they arrive, you see the hitchhiker's there. And we find out he's also in on it, and Leatherface. And that they're all related. He's like, why'd you leave your brother all alone? Like, he definitely abuses Leatherface and
without a
definitely
doubt.
abuses, like, the hitchhiker, especially when he goes in and he's with Leatherface. He's, like, looking for a reason to hit Leatherface. Leatherface is like, no, look, I got this under control. I got this under control. He's like, oh, did you do this, though?
Why is there no cap on this pen?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Well, you skipped over the door. Come on, that's the best
Oh,
part.
yeah.
What
Well,
did he
yeah,
do
he,
to the
like, freaks
door?
out about the door.
Well, I would too.
I guess
You
I'd be
fucking ruined
upset
it.
about that. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, there's a doorknob.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Why does Leatherface talk like Adam Sandler?
Hey, Joe, no, Joe. What did you do?
Yeah.
What did you do? Hey, no shadow, no shadow. So.
What would he do?
What would he do? Yes, you know your money. So yeah, he puts Sally. They bring her into the house and they tie her up, and that's when they bring down Grandpa. And I love when the hitchhiker is like, "Come on, Leatherface, help me with Grandpa." So they go upstairs and you see like them pick up Grandpa, and it's this guy who's maybe like 180 years old.
Yeah.
Wearing
He
like
looks-
a Halloween mask.
Yeah, like he really does look like a Michael Myers mask. And it's funny, the actor who was playing Grandpa is actually one of the younger.
I was gonna
people
say,
in the cast.
did you guys know that John Dugan? He was
Yeah.
18.
Really?
He was a
Yeah.
kid. Yeah. There's
That's
a
hilarious.
behind the scenes
Yeah.
picture of him like with like the prosthetic on and he has no shirt on, so you could see like his body is like a kid's body, and then you got the fucking old man head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's like a Sophia and Golden Girls situation.
Exactly. Yeah, she was the youngest
She
out of
was.
the four. Yeah. And so
Seems
he talked
slightly
about
different.
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
he was
Hey, and thank you for being a friend.
yeah.
Thank you for being.
I really like that show, but we don't have to talk about that.
But yeah, it turns out like he talked about in the documentary that he was cast and his drama teacher was like, "Oh, what is the movie about?" Because he had to like quit his job to like move down to Texas to do it and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, it's like a role, but like heavily makeup role." It's like, she makes like a reference to Roddy McDowell. She's like, Roddy McDowell couldn't play Planet of the Apes until he was an established actor, right? And he's like, well, this is a paying gig. I want to do it. So he ended up leaving to go do the role and stuff.
And then she's probably working on like a Target. Now.
Yeah. But I just thought that was pretty cool. And so they bring down Grandpa. And
By the way, I like how the family is really just trying to be hospitable. Because they're all just like, we're going to get your dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
gonna
going
get
to
you dinner.
be feeding you. You might not like what it is, but...
And they use the knife to cut open like Sally's finger, and that's when Grandpa gets like a little taste.
Do you ever used to greet the guests that way when we first started doing the show?
I'm like, hey, can I see your finger really
And
quick?
you just like suck their finger.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I don't know.
they liked it. Yeah,
Some of them did.
that's why none of those guys returned.
You know, that was a real
Except
cut.
for me.
Yeah.
That was a real cut on the finger, by the way, during that scene.
Oh, really?
The tube wasn't, the blood tube that was hidden behind the blade wasn't working right, so eventually Gunnar Hannes was just like, fuck it, rip the thing off, rip the guard off the knife and really cut her finger.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. That's
So that's crazy. I didn't know that. So Sally is at the dinner table with the family where they all start to like taunt her. We get all these like crazy shots like up close of her eye, like
Oh, yeah, those
And,
like
like,
macro lenses.
yeah, and she's like freaking out.
She plays traumatized very well. Like,
Yeah.
she looks
Like,
like she's just like insane with terror by the end of
Yeah.
this thing.
Oh my god. Yeah. And it's funny because like the old man, he's like freaking out about the door. I'm like, oh man, wait till he sees the upstairs window.
I don't know. It might be fixed. It went back.
Oh, yeah,
and
no,
forth.
there was a tarp over it.
Yeah.
He fucking put a tarp over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There's a part where she's like screaming and then they're like howling like dogs.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like honestly, like that is like really frightening.
It is. That whole scene
It's like
is
a nightmare.
A nightmare.
I can
Yeah.
imagine her actually not having a hard time playing scared.
Yeah.
With all of them.
Yeah.
Well, they're all like, yeah, for sure. Like it's very
They're all like
ugh.
scary looking, you
I
know,
mean,
like
Gunner in
oh my
general.
gosh.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That
he
mask is like terrifying.
He's an opposing
dude.
force.
Yeah.
For the record, though, this whole setup, this is actually what our game night looked like the other night.
Yeah. That's pretty true.
Well, now I'm not
We all did
attending
a
the
blood.
next one.
We did a blood oath and everything.
It was a blood oath. There's always a blood oath.
Every time.
Has to be. So eventually, they try to get Grandpa to kill Sally with a hammer.
Oh wait, one little line before we get there. When they're at the table,
Yeah.
they're like the hitchhiker is kind of like making fun of the old man because he doesn't actually like kill people.
He's
Constantly,
like,
"You're
you
just
don't
a
do it
cook."
like.
Yeah, and he says, "I don't take no pleasure in killing."
Yeah.
Which I think is like really interesting because it's like obviously you're a part of this horrific shit, but he still has some sort of
Standards?
Yeah, like isn't that weird? Like psychopaths sometimes do have standards.
Like a code. Yeah.
yeah,
Some
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
he's like he knows they're doing it. He's okay with them doing it. He's okay with them terrorizing this like young woman.
Right.
He's like, I don't got the stomach for none of that killing. And I'm like, you got a stomach for a lot of things that are kind of worse.
He just
Yeah.
likes to psychologically torture her though with the broom in the car, like, and then at
Yeah.
the table when he's doing like these faces, you know, like it's so fucking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he is like such a great character actor. I mean, everybody in this scene is like knocks it out of the park. But yeah, they bring her to Grandpa, who can't get like muster up the strength to like really hit her in the head with the hammer. He keeps like dropping it.
Fucked up.
It's really fucked up. He does get one good shot in,
Yeah, and you see like that wound in her head.
yeah, and you're like, oh, and you even see like Leatherface and is like trying to guide the hammer like
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
grandpa and stuff, and then
Because the grandfather used to be a pro at this.
Yeah.
and then the hitchhiker gets like impatient. He's like, oh, let me do it. So he like is reaching in the bucket, like kind of lets go of Sally, reaches in the bucket, and that's when she sees her chance. So she just gets up and
Another
runs and jumps through another window. I could just imagine Leatherface going, oh, fuck, now another window.
Every window in the place is broken.
This is coming out of my allowance.
What the fuck is
Be
that?
so mad.
You know I didn't do that one, old man.
You saw her.
And so then the hitchhiker and Leatherface give chase, right? And this is when the hitchhiker is like one of the most brutal. I don't know. This part's brutal. He has his razor blade, like his shaving
Yeah,
blade.
he's slicing at her as she's running.
Yeah, he's like slicing up her back, like left and right. And he's getting, like, every time he does, it's like
You can
connecting.
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel it, and you're like, oh my God. So he's just like hacking up her back while Leatherface is grabbing his chainsaw, and he's like a little bit more behind them.
Well, he's a little chunkier, so it takes
Yeah.
him longer.
Yeah. So eventually, though, they run out into the road, and a Mack truck just like plows into the hitchhiker.
I was really bad because I guess that was the truck driver from Pet Sematary. He's like, "Oh, not again!"
That's always happened to me.
Oh man!
That
I gotta
was
stop listening to the Ramones when I'm driving. I just get all worked up.
that was another scene though when I saw it the first time, because it's not a jump scare, but it's so unexpected. It just comes out of nowhere, and then now you look at it and it's obvious that it's a dummy under the fallen, but
it
that's
looks
okay.
so good.
Yeah, it does.
It's crazy. And so the guy gets out of the truck. He's like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
This is the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, and as like he's trying to talk to Sally, that's when Leatherface like comes around the corner. He's like, "Oh shit!" And they both like run around this truck for a while. It's almost like a Benny Hill skit. It's like,
and then he pauses to like draw on the door with the chainsaw.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
truck door.
yeah, and he's just like, charring up this door. He's like,
Yeah.
and then that's when Sally sees this other truck going by, like this open bed truck, and so she jumps into the back of that, and that like turns around and like takes off. Meanwhile, the truck driver,
He just runs off screen.
just
and that's
runs
it.
off.
We never see him.
yeah, I would assume he probably dies, right? I would assume like
I
Leatherface
don't know,
probably.
but he gets wounded. Remember Leatherface, because he throws
Yeah.
the wrench. And,
yeah.
and hits him, and he cuts his leg. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he yells out, he's like, "Ah, is this what I've been doing to people?"
Oh, that's what that feels like.
Jesus.
Ow!
Ouch.
Owie. Yeah, but he that guy just runs off, and Sally is in the back of the truck, and it drives off, and she's just like crying hysterically, covered in blood. Her hair's all bloody from like the hammer that she got hit in the head with.
Half insane with terror.
Yeah, and you see the driver. It's like this young dude who's
He
just
keeps
like
looking back.
Yeah, keeps looking
see
back like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like, who's this lady in my truck? But,
What if he was also like another serial killer?
yeah.
It's just like a real bad day for her.
It's like, I just got back from college.
Man, I hate Texas.
Yeah.
Was that my brother?
That should have been the real sequel right there.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm safe." He's like, "Nah, you ain't."
Nope.
You
But,
think that's bad?
but yeah, she gets back in, and, and that's when the movie ends. You just see, like, her driving off, and then Leatherface sees it, and he,
Dancing.
Yeah.
he ends
That's
up
what you
having
call that, right? It's a dance.
Yeah, the chainsaw dance routine.
It's the failure dance.
Yeah.
It's like, I failed dad. And he's just
I don't know. He seemed like he was having a good time, even though he was pissed.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder how much sound and things that we didn't really hear in the original, like, because even like you were saying with the
Oh, right.
ADR stuff, and
Yeah.
then,
Oh yeah. The raspberries.
right, yeah, like
Yeah.
I wonder how much more of him, like in that scene as an example, like,
Right.
because do we hear him groaning while he's dancing around too?
No, you just hear
No,
the
not
chainsaw.
dancing. Yeah, no, you just
because I
when he
imagine
cuts his
he's
leg,
wailing.
he does.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You do hear some jazzy music playing when he's dancing, though.
It's actually Chapel Roan.
Yeah,
I don't know
They
how.
cut that out.
Yeah.
H-O-T-T.
T-O-G-O. I got this chainsaw ready to go. So
Turn into Weird Al for a second.
yeah, that's what I do.
Well, the thing is though about the sound though, the sound quality isn't the best because
Right.
it's with such a low budget. Even now that it's remastered, even there's still some lines that are like, especially if there's overlapping dialogue, it's still hard to hear
Yeah, right.
exactly
Yeah.
what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah. And but yeah, no, that's where the movie ends, and again, this is like a classic. Like I love this movie. I think it's perfect. It's only an hour and 23 minutes, which
Yeah.
is like really short.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because Leprechaun in Space 4 was an hour and 36 minutes.
Same kind of movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
Right. But with
EJ
that being
agreed.
said, but with that being said, Mike, what are your thoughts on this movie?
I mean, I love this movie. I love I love the icons of horror, like of slashers. Slasher is absolutely my favorite type of horror, but it even more so of Texas Chainsaw. What I love watching, especially if it's done fairly well, is psycho hillbillies, because there's no law. It doesn't matter. Like, you can try to reason with them, but they're psycho hillbillies. Like
Right.
Cabin Fever, Wrong Turn, Texas Chainsaw, House of Thousand Corpses. Like, these are people that are just, I don't care. There's no logic. I'm
Right.
just gonna do this because I like doing this. So
Yeah.
you're not getting away. So, like, watching Texas Chainsaw as being that, like, because this is before Halloween and
Right.
this is before Friday the 13th. So,
Yeah.
like,
I think it's also pre-Exorcist. I know it's not a slasher film, but
yeah, it's 74
Yeah.
and Exorcist is 77.
73. So it's a year later.
wait, is this 73 or 74?
Oh, this is
74.
filmed in 73.
Well, yeah, but it didn't come
Yeah,
out till
right.
74.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
in the same ballpark.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 We'll cut
But
that
yeah,
out.
so I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Brent?
Yeah, I mean, what can we say? I was the one who suggested this. So, I mean, yeah, definitely top 5 without a doubt.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I saw this for the first time when I was too young. I don't remember, 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
And I was expecting it to be like another Halloween, like more polished, whatever. So I didn't actually like it the first time.
Yeah.
It was only after, whatever, a couple years passed and I went back and reappraised and I'm like, no, this is actually genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like whoever said, what he was able to do with what, $100,000? I don't know what the exact, the budget's not known. It's like in dispute, 100 to 150,000. But still, you know,
He was paying with pot, basically. So it's hard to tell.
It's not
Yeah.
drug dealing filmmaking.
well,
gonna take
see,
off.
the thing is, and we won't get into this much, but there was the whole mini scandal about the one company that put in some money that there was mafia connections and all this other shit.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, whatever. But regardless, what you're able to do with that amount of money is just crazy, you know. And the low budget works to its advantage, obviously,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't actually see a lot of, I mean, there's some gross stuff, but like you don't see the blood or the cutting.
Right.
I mean,
Because
you
they couldn't
see-
afford to show it. but yeah.
Yeah. And even
Yeah.
without it,
Well, it works better, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the Jaws thing. Like the shark wasn't working, so it's like
You
it
see
actually
it less?
yeah, like you see less of it, and it's actually so much more effective.
Yep.
Like if they probably filmed Jaws the way Spielberg wanted to, we probably wouldn't be talking about it.
yeah.
Yeah. But do you know who EJ? I think you said it was one of the few, or somebody said it was one of the few, like perfect horror movies or
Yeah.
something like that. You know
Yeah.
who else said that? Quentin Tarantino. I have
Oh.
that written down here because
Yeah.
that's noteworthy.
Yeah.
And
Who's that?
you know who else really liked this movie? Fucking Roger Ebert,
Oh,
who
really?
infamously did not like horror movies, as I'm sure you guys are aware.
Yeah.
Loved to trash them.
Well, he. To be fair for Raj,
Good old Rod.
Good old Raj, R.I.P.
he. I love him. I love reading his reviews, but he didn't like Friday the 13th, like movies like that. But he did like review like Halloween.
He did like
very
Halloween.
well.
You're right. Yeah.
And whenever the movie had any type of like real craft behind it, and it was actually like effective in what they were selling out to do, and it wasn't terribly exploitive, he seemed like he would give it like a pretty solid review.
He also famously liked Last House on the Left, the original.
And you know what else? The Devil's Rejects.
Really?
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he liked that one. He said he something about how he like commended it for its commitment to depravity. I'm like, yeah,
That
I know.
sounds like such a Raj quote, to
Yeah.
use your
Raj.
term. Yeah, Raj.
I used to like just read reviews from him for like.
Oh, they're
the longest
entertaining.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes like when he really gets the film, he actually does offer a lot of really good insight to it. So
Yeah.
but I
Oh, yeah.
know he did really like this one.
Yeah.
Rory, your thoughts?
So, I mean, like honestly, it's like what the top 5 best horror films ever. Might
Easily,
be like
right?
lower on the list too.
Yeah.
So that's not just like something that you say; it's earned,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I really, really, really love. Again, I've said this before during the review, but like the gritty, like stripped down, like that dirty kind of filmmaking that they went with, and I imagine a lot of that has to do with like again like the budget, but it was serendipitous because this movie has like a feeling of like you want to take a shower afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it is a very, very, very effective, very scary film still. It ages, I think it just holds up.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I love like even just some of the more like clever, more experimental things that he was doing. Like when it shows Sally like kind of like losing her mind and screaming, and he's using those like macro lenses to kind of like photograph the close-ups
Isn't
of her
that so
eyes.
effective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like what does being terrorized look like? And it's Sally, you know. So yeah, I mean everything that you hear about this movie, like all the good stuff, and like just that it really is a movie that's unapologetic. It's brutal. It's like an assault. Yeah. It's still, it just deserves all that good reputation that it has. So yeah, I mean, I literally don't have anything negative to say about it.
No.
It's just, it's like, I feel like if you were ever talking to people, you'd hear those, like, what are some of the best horror movies ever made? They'd just be like Halloween, like Psycho, The Exorcist, and like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They have to be like that top 4.
That's like the Mount Rushmore, maybe.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with you fuckers. No, I'm just kidding. I love this movie. I think it's perfect. I kind of led into that earlier. It's definitely like a top 10 favorite of mine. I think it's absolutely perfect. There's nothing I would cut. You know how sometimes you can watch a movie and you're like, you could probably cut around this or that, I think it's visceral, raw, real, and I think that's why it's so appealing. Like, it just feels like people you would know. It doesn't, like, the dialogue doesn't feel like Hollywood dialogue.
It's not scripted.
Right. It feels just like everything feels very authentic. And the way the movie looks, the idea behind it of just being like on a road trip coming across like this horror thing, this horrible family. It's kind of crazy, but like sometimes when you're driving cross country, you just like, oh, this is creepy. There's like nothing for miles around.
It's like when I drove to your house.
Yeah.
When I was driving to your house, I had that feeling. You kind of like live pretty far back in the woods, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get.
It is dark up by now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get kidnapped and.
Yeah.
Taken by the firefighter.
And then it happened, but it was by Mike.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, I love this movie, and I think it's perfect. It's a perfect movie. Anyways, let's get into our emojis.
Let's hear those bomb ass emojis.
Mike, you want to start us off?
Let's see. Like just the ham bone.
Yeah.
The ham bone emoji. A nice cup of chili.
Perfect.
I know they don't really play into that.
That's
like
part
I said,
2.
I know that's Texas Chainsaw 2, which is, but I mean, and then just a smiley face.
Oh, I like that.
Just a normal smiley face. No teeth, just the closed lips.
Oh, I like that. Brent?
All right, well, every bone emoji that exists, like the skull, obviously, and any other bone in the body. What else?
It's so perfect.
Well, I mean, that's like 50 right there.
Yeah.
Do I need any more?
No, that's good.
50 emojis, perfect.
I have for my emojis 2 windows and a door, because they all got fucked up in the movie, and I felt really bad about those. Rory, go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to some of the animal representation. Saw a bunch of cows in this movie. Armadillo, who was a trained thespian. Pig. So heard a pig in this.
We heard a pig.
We heard
a
pig. But that's because he was doing voice acting.
Yeah, it was a voiceover.
Chicken, because there was a chicken in a cage who had that look on his face like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And
that
then,
chicken was like a good actor.
He was. I really felt that his feeling of
Are
being
you
trapped.
implying that I fuck chickens?
And then my last emoji is a cat. There was not a cat in this movie, but at one point while I was watching the movie, I looked over at Ella, and she was laying on the floor, and she was on her back, and she was looking at me, and her eyes were huge and spooky. So I'll think about that until I die.
Yeah. You probably traumatized her by watching this movie.
No, she didn't like it.
Yeah. All right, and then let's get into
Plugs!
plugs.
It's time for a plug.
Mike Vinci, you want to start us off?
All right. Well, shantytowndesign.com. We are a marketing and design company. So if you got a business, you need a website, or you need marketing set out for your whole year, get a hold of us, shantytowndesign.com. And then in fall 2025, you're going to be getting the Spines Literary Fair coming to Scranton, Pennsylvania. We don't have a location locked down yet, so we don't have an official date. But fall 2025, picture the Scholastic Fairs from elementary school, but for adults. That's what we're going for.
Hell yeah. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I want a race car pencil. That's it.
We'll find it. Well, speaking, if anybody out there is a writer or a writer of books, screenplays, theater, anything like that, and you are interested in either being a vendor or some kind of presentation, like I said, we don't have a date and anything officially set, but you can definitely reach out to us.
I know a couple people.
Yeah.
I'll send your way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm going to get in on that too.
Yeah.
I have a couple scrplays lying around.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We've been talking.
No, seriously.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I don't usually broadcast that, but since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Brent? What would you like to plug?
Well, first off, I'll just give the same one that I gave here last time, but we're a lot closer to that now, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Northeast Film Festival up in Waverly, April 4th to the 6th. About, 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
My film that I helped make is going to be showing at that, amongst many others. I forget how many we have this year, and I should know this shit because I'm on the executive committee, but somewhere between, we have like 3 or 4 features and then between 20 and 30 shorts total.
Cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be a great,
Yeah,
great
that
fun.
sounds really
This is
cool.
my first year being involved with it, so I guess I'll find out. But
Yeah.
by all accounts, it's successful.
What's the name of your film?
The one that I was talking about last time, On Thin Ice. I didn't
okay.
direct it. I was just assisting camera, and I
You
have
like acted in it.
a bit
right?
role. Well,
Yeah.
newscaster. But again, film opens with me on screen, so whatever. Even
Yeah,
if it's
man.
only for 10 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
You call that a
Spoiler.
spoiler? So that, and just, well, this isn't really a plug, but trying to hit some more conventions. I don't think I'm going to be able to go to the Gettysburg one at the end of the month, unfortunately, just because
yeah.
I just went to one, and it's like budget and
Right.
time and this and that. So, and I don't want to be, I just started a new job, and I don't want to be like, oh, I got to take these days off. They're going to be getting annoyed. So
Yeah.
Do it.
bad
it.
influence over here. But Monster Mania is in Baltimore in May, I think. So that's probably going to be my next one to try to get to.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Rory?
Raven View Productions. It's my film production company and also the production company that you get to listen to this wonderful podcast through. Did I say wonderful? I meant terrible. We got Fourth Cut Reviews, Keyboard Warrior Chirse.
Chirse.
Chirse
Chirse.
Conforti, doing the Lord's work, making things, putting them up places, YouTube and the like. Mm-hmm.
Nailed it.
Yes. Very informative.
Holy shit, Rory. That was the best plug I've ever heard.
I don't know, he makes stuff. He makes
Yeah.
videos and things. Variant Season is a heavy metal of sorts, rock band.
Yes.
Their music is awesome. I actually was at the gym the other day, and I was just blasting all their singles. And I'm real proud of my buddy, our buddy,
yeah.
Will Perna, and his band of awesome musicians. Just
Merry
writing
men.
merry men. Yeah, they write this this music. I swear to God, the way it's like recorded and everything, it sounds better than like most music that you hear on like a professional level.
Yeah.
Well, you know, within
Right.
like the industry, right?
Right.
But I think they just have like a great ear for that type of music. Gravy Diggers. It is the graviest of pot pies. The FBI has been looking into us for a while, but don't let that discourage you.
Oh, and they just got the new stereo, right? Thing that they're doing where like the audio track that they just keep playing from the Salem Witch Museum.
Oh, sure.
It's like Gravy Digger.
There's also a mysterious new item on the menu.
Yeah.
It's a weird type of barbecue. We're not going to get too far into where it comes from, but Swartz Dreamboat.
Swartz Dreamboat.
He's our dreamboat of the comedic variety. He does all this awesome free comedy. It's just there for you to watch. Why aren't you watching it? Why are you just suffering meaningless depression when you could be laughing hysterically along with Schwartz Dreamboat? I'm a big fan.
With funny depression.
Yeah. Depression can be funny. Real Chronicles, friend of the show, Dave Gonzalez. That's his podcast. I pop on sometimes and talk film with them. They probably think that they're doing, exactly. I do a lot of coke with them, okay? On Real Chronicles.
They didn't.
Whoa.
See that.
Oh, they didn't see EJ doing a line of coke just now. But
jeez.
we're all mad because he didn't share. But you can find a lot of his work on the Cinematic Reel, and also you can read his awesome reviews over there on the Rotten Tomatoes. He's a legit film critic. He just got into something recently. It was like some really important thing. I put a heart on the post because I loved it.
He went to like a sneak preview of Novocaine too.
Well,
right?
yeah, there was that,
Huh?
but yeah, he
Or no, not that.
It was something else. It was actually like something for like reviewers. I forgot what it's called.
Awesome.
Yeah. Also, just to cap off my plugs, we got Kitties of NEPA Pet Rescue. If you love cats as much as I do, and you want to see them in homes, you want to see them all being pet and given treats and fed, you don't want to do that.
Treats.
You can look up
New shit.
You can look up Kitties of NEPA Pet Rescue. There's actually a link on our website, frequelspodcast.com, that our buddy over here, Mike Vinci, put together for us through his wonderful company that he just plugged.
ShandyTownDesign.com.
ShandyTown Design, motherfucker. But yeah, there's a link that you can follow, so you can look into them. You can adopt the cats. You can help the cats get them food, get them blankets. You can just adopt one like I did, Miss Ella, who watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre with me. She hasn't slept since. And her eyes are wide.
Meow.
And she looks scared. But Case of NEPA Pet Rescue, before you do anything else in your life, look into them.
Yeah.
If you need to make space in your house for these cats, get rid of your kids.
No kids.
Your kids are stupid.
Kids are stupid.
And honestly, you don't know. They might grow up to be the next dictator. So you want that on your hands, just get some cats.
No kids, all cats. Let's go.
Adios, kids.
I like that tagline.
What?
What you just said.
Adios, kids. Children.
All right, so really quick, I would like to throw out some plugs. Three Jacks Burger Bar, and you could come get those basics done better here in Dunmore, right on Blakely, right? Or is it Drinker? It's Drinker Street.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Look up the directions.
Jacks.
Three Jacks. What's the burger of the month?
It's the Celtic Warrior. It's got stuff on it.
It got a lot of
Sauerkraut.
Yeah.
cornbread.
Corned beef.
Thousand
beef.
Island dressing,
Yeah.
Swiss cheese.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get your choice of fries or chips. If that's not your thing, then fuck you.
Then fuck you.
Fuck off,
Fuck off.
piece of shit.
I fucking hate you.
I hope you go find Leatherface's house and get yourself chopped up.
I hope he just puts a chainsaw in your ass.
Yeah, and then they film it with the butt cam.
Yo, that's Terrifier territory.
Oh, yeah, that's
we're-
right.
Yeah. Hear that, Damien Leon? We're throwing out some good info for you.
Yeah.
Take our terrible ideas.
Too bad he already did.
Yeah.
Well,
he did it.
then we're just hacks.
Also, check out the music of Adam Farley. You can find it on iTunes or where else? Spotify.
Wherever you listen to your music,
Yeah,
guys.
wherever you listen to music,
You don't gotta
check
be
out
specific.
Carson's song. If you want to see some upcoming live shows with Adam and the MDG crew, just go to themdgcrew.com and you can see upcoming shows. And check it out. It's pretty dope.
Shit.
Yeah. Also, Chris Lou, friend of the show, from the Babadook episode.
Yeah.
He has music and an EP on Spotify and iTunes, and it's called Songs from the Hallway. It's really good. Sounds like Billy Joel.
Yeah. It's very different from my album that I put out called Screams from the Basement.
Still
an
waiting to get my
ASMR.
copy.
It's just an ASMR album. It's just literally screams.
Yeah, it's actually.
See it.
Hey, we're trying to have fun over here. Let's not get the police involved.
Check out Respawn Tattoo. Our buddy Jay Salerno.
Gentle J.
Gentle J. Check out if you want some ink done. This is the guy to go to. His name is literally Gentle J. And
He's
what
like
better
a
guy to
squid.
get?
He'll
Yeah.
ink you up.
Oh shit! Also, check out Shantytown Design. Who does that? I don't know.
Never met him.
I
They
think it's.
sound weird.
I actually said it. I kept saying Shanty Hill.
I know. I've
When
heard
I
it.
first, yeah,
I
like
put a note in my thing. I was like, it's Shanty Town.
Shantytown, man.
Shanty Hill sounds like a mental hospital.
It's actually an area in Scranton.
Is
Well,
it?
it used to be
What?
called. Yeah, it was like near Alder Street. It used to be called Shanty Hill.
Is that where all those people got killed?
Yeah, that's why they renamed the whole.
And that's what we named our company after. Shantytown Design, Shantytown Massacre Design.com.
Yeah, but check that
That's
out.
the old name.
Yeah. Check out Comics on the Green. Our buddy Becky and Dave, they work there, and get all your good reading right from there.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Jon Snow, New Metal Messiah.
Metal Messiah, Jon Snow.
Go to etc.com or Facebook or YouTube or where else? They're everywhere. Instagram. And you can see.
Jeeves.
Yeah, Ask Jeeves. And
Ask Jeeves.
and they have a music video out, and it's awesome.
Freak on a leash.
Yeah, and it's freaking awesome.
He's
Check it
performing
out.
with, I might be saying this wrong, Evanescence or something?
Evanescence,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah, and
Evanescence cover band.
you get like a little glimpse of what Jon Snow can bring to the table.
But
there.
really, you need to see him in person.
No, yeah. If
It's
you
like, would you
see
rather
him,
see a star like on like TV, or would you rather just go look at one?
yeah, exactly.
Ooh, a telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck a
Stars.
telescope.
hell yeah.
You got the ability to go see a star. He's performing around here. Melt your fucking face.
And then check out, of course, frequelspodcast.com.
We got merch.
We got merch out there.
Merch.
If you want a T-shirt, or
Pint glass.
pint glass, or a little glass, What-
Don't forget masturbation. Come on
Coffee
now.
cup.
coffee cup. Yeah, no, we have mugs. We have
got mugs.
We got mugs. But we also have sweatshirts and T-shirts. And we have like a suggestion thing too. Like if you're like, you know what? I would love to get stickers from you guys. You could like hit us up with suggestions, and we can always maybe add those, right?
Yeah, we can do whatever you want.
And we also, just so you know, we're environmentally friendly. So all of our merchandise is made by child slave labor.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that real?
Yeah.
I'm really proud of us.
Yeah.
And then I would say, if you want to go there, you could hit us up and ask us a few questions. If you have any suggestions or want to throw out like a movie that you want to hear get covered, email us on there. You could just send us a message. It'll go to Rory, and he won't read it.
I won't read a single word of it.
Have you ever checked our emails?
I do all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
We never.
It's just a lot of people ask us to stop.
I'll stop sending that email.
Oh, thank you. Thank
okay,
you.
thanks.
You've been flooding the box.
But yeah, no. If you want to hit us up and throw out the stuff, go ahead.
Do
hit
it.
us
Why
up.
not?
Do
Yeah.
it.
Do it
cool.
for you.
Do it if you're
And
cool.
we have upcoming stuff too.
Coming
That-
soon.
Yeah, we won't announce it yet, but
Probably our next episode, we're going to give you a breakdown of some shit that's coming
man.
your way.
yeah, be ready.
Punch
We'll
you
just say
right-
look forward to May.
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely the website will have information about it too. So frequelspodcast.com. If you're not going to listen to the next episode for whatever reason, go to that website and we'll put information there too. And
Yeah.
tell your friends.
Yeah.
all your friends.
All your friends, even if it's just you, you loser.
Scumbag.
You scumbag loser. No, but yeah, check out frequelspodcast.com and get all the updated info on your favorite podcast or least favorite podcast.
Or second. We'll settle for like second.
Yeah.
Second worst.
That's that Three Jacks. We're Three Jacks' second favorite podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And they haven't even decided who their first favorite
Yeah,
is.
they don't even-
just know that prequels is at least, at most.
Yeah, they settled on 2
Yeah.
for us. So
They were laughing when they said it.
yeah, we hope. Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, thank you to our special guest, Mike Vinci. Thanks for being here and hanging out, doing it up. And of course, thanks to Brent for suggesting the movie. Come back anytime. I love having you on. I love your movie picks. I know
Are you for real? Do
Yeah.
you really though?
I mean, like Terrifier 3, I know I lead into it, but I enjoy it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
You love it now because of me. Just admit it.
Yeah, it's true. You taught me a new word, which I never...
I know. Still
yeah.
can't get over that.
Yeah, I'm still
Still
saying-
collecting royalties.
Yeah.
I'm
Good.
Melinda masturbating. Anyway,
Yeah, Rory just tried it out for real.
I know.
Um,
I went down for a week.
yeah, no, but thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Again, thanks to Mike and thanks to Rory for being a great guy.
Hey, man, thanks for being a great host.
Dude, I love
Yeah,
you, man.
man.
I love
You
you,
do a good
dude.
job.
Yeah, get out of here. You're so good.
You're great talking into a microphone.
I know. That's why I keep walking away from it. No, but
They're tickling each other's hands. Right
yeah.
I can see it. Yep.
Tickling hands. But guys, thank you for listening in every single week and checking us out. We're on YouTube now, and thank you for all the people who are listening to us on YouTube. It was crazy. Like when Rory dropped those 75 episodes, and the next day we see Terrifier 3 getting like 200 listens
Yeah,
or
it was like
something.
pretty quick. Yeah.
It was so quick.
Wow.
I'll
Yeah,
take
it was
credit
like
for that.
insane.
Hell
Yeah. And we're like, what happened? And even older episodes, we're like, what's going on? Like, this is crazy. So all in one day, like that was insane. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We love you guys and appreciate you guys. And with that being said, thank you for listening to Sally!